1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
There's-
12, 13 bands.
Yeah, it's like a
announced.
dozen, and there were like almost 25 this year or something.
Oh my God, is it that many? Oh my
It's-
God,
it's
it is.
Not quite, but yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 is one day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 on the second day. Yeah. Damn.
See? It's probably more.
Sick.
Sup Nerds, and welcome to Powerful, the Power Metal Podcast, the podcast with powerful metal, even more powerful opinions. My name is Kyle. I'll be your host today as I'm joined once again by Fernando.
Hey, how's it going, Kyle?
It is going epic, Fernando, because we did the thing we weren't sure we were going to do, but we did it. We returned to Denmark for the most epic fest known to man, that being Epic Fest. The good people at Epic Fest invited us to go and be part of the mighty press of wisdom there. So thank you to our friend Lauga and everyone else at Epic Fest for having us back out. It was it was a heck of a time.
I can't believe we actually went again. I think we said the first time that we went that it would not happen again, most likely, because it's such a trip, especially for me. But going all the way to Scandinavia again, like a year ago, this was not on the table at all. But we did it. We
did it.
We were captured again by the epicness and the festness.
It has become like too hard for us to ignore.
Yeah,
like with we'll probably get into it, but like the state of we'll say the American power metal festivals, a little rocky right now.
Yeah.
And so the eyes of the hungry American power metal fan have turned outward. And I know more of my buddies from like the Mad with Power and Prog Power scenes were at Epic Fest this year. And it just started to feel like a broader extension of that group, but into something bigger and grander in a way that I don't think the American power metal fests are really quite able to capture. And we'll get into all of that for sure here.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, so this is, once again, dear listener, technically a travel blog, but it's more about the fest itself. We'll give it a bit more about the fest itself because it was not a long fest, but because it's just 2 days, but such loaded.
But we can
2
still
days.
make it a travel log because I extended my European adventure with a little detour to England because a little band called Avantasia has been touring in Europe recently. And I'm like, hey, these guys are never coming back to America with their shows that sell like 15 tickets. I'll see them in Europe. So I went and saw their show in London about a week and a half before Epic Fest with some of our local London friends, and even some Americans went there too. And that was really cool. I won't focus on it because that's not the point of this episode. But hey, a 3-hour show with a whole bunch of singers coming in and out, doing a bunch of Avantasia songs. It's a great time, and I recommend seeing those shows if you get a chance. You can listen to Toby complain about people not liking music from the new album with his phenomenal stage banter. Because like he gets up there and he'll be like, "This next song is from the new album," and then there's like a meager response from the crowd, and then he gets all pissed off and he rants for 5 minutes. It's great. It's great.
Incredible, just incredible. It's not like it's been that long. Has it been that long since either you and I saw Avantasia? It was definitely before the last album.
Well, I saw him in 2019 when
oh
they
my
came
God,
to,
it's been so long.
It was before COVID, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Damn. And yeah, with the state of things is probably that's a hard show to get back in the US anytime soon, with all the guest vocalists and everything, and the sheer cost of it.
Yeah, and they never sold that well as far as I saw in the US, especially for how expensive these shows have got to be to put on.
So that was a good move. That was a very good move. Just adding that little pre-trip. I wanted to join, but I had to see another show at that time.
Yeah, you had plenty going on. You were fine, okay?
But I do think that I missed out on the UK at London adventure. But I had to see Angra. I saw Angra doing a 20th anniversary set of Temple of Shadows in full, plus some hits before and after. That was really magical.
Yeah, I'm super jealous of that.
Yeah, especially with them going on undetermined hiatus after finishing touring this year. So I think I mentioned this, but again, if you're listening to this and you can catch Angra live, do it before you can't for sure anymore.
Yeah, I might not have a chance. And especially because when I saw Angra at Prague Power last year, I didn't think their set list was the best. So getting like a proper Temple of Shadow show sounds awesome. Yeah,
no, it was absolutely sick. But tell us more about your adventures in the UK, in the London. Did you? A lot of people have mentioned that you started catching an accent after a while.
As someone who likes to be a bit of a shithead, and I started picking up bits of the English accent and adapting my diction to some of the UK mannerisms. Oh, it's not a trash can, it's a rubbish bin. Oh, it's not a sweater or sweatshirt, it's a jumper. Oh yeah, okay, bud, sure. I went there, I had some fish and chips, I went to Spoons when I was hungover. I got bangers and mash. I got to really experience UK culture.
Nice.
Let's see what else. I went to some museums. I went to some plays. I got fucked up in some bars. I lived the big city, big boy life. I'm just as a simple country boy, it was a lot to take in. I got to ride in public transit for a couple of weeks. That's always fascinating. As someone who drives everywhere. So, the big travel adventures abroad in Europe.
Nice. And then we actually met all the way in Copenhagen, Denmark, after all those sick adventures.
Back in Copenhagen, it felt good to be back in Copenhagen. Like going from London and like the craziness of all of that to Copenhagen, like the vibe switch was just like you felt it in the air. Denmark is so much more chill than the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And then even comparing Denmark in April versus just January when we went last year, it felt like a whole new country. Like things looked different, things felt different. I could go outside and like there was color and lights and life. And so thank God Epic Fest is continuing on in April and no longer in January. Because, man, I definitely preferred this version of Denmark to the previous version.
It was so much easier. Everything was so much easier because we were not fighting the weather. Like the perils of walking on snow and ice, everything gray and green. Yeah. And we actually, I heard from some locals there that we actually got the week with the best weather.
Hell yeah.
We really lucked out. It was sunny and nice. It was still for us, it felt like winter. It was like Buenos Aires winter and it was California cold officially. Yeah. But it was so sunny and nice and people were so happy on the streets. The complete opposite of the vibe when we were in January. I mean, everyone was asking why are you here in winter?
Why the fuck are
you
here
for
man?
Work? Why would you come? We don't want to go out in the street. And now everyone was going around. All the flowers were blooming. People
it was so beautiful.
Parks just having fun. Kids going on bicycles. Incredible.
Yes, so highly recommend Denmark in general, especially not in January. And just when the day we get to the fest, we're in Roskilde. And I was smarter this year at our karaoke party, so I was not hungover. Everything wasn't frozen. I didn't need to watch my step everywhere I went. And just man, day one on the fest this year was just, I was locked in. I was ready. I was so much better prepared than last year. I think when we did this episode last year, I was like, oh man, I was in a rough state, but not this time because I was locked in. Because so that fest was split over 2 days, and I think for most of our group, day one had a lot more of like the hype bands.
Yeah,
that we really wanted to like be standing and going crazy for. And so I knew I had a big day ahead of me. So I'm like, all right, we got to get ready. We got to be good to go here. And man, what a day it was.
It was, thinking about it, it was a really long day. Like,
yes,
it's hard to comprehend it now because like as we record this, it's only been a week since the fest.
That's wild to think about.
And it feels like 2 lifetimes have gone through since that morning. Like that, situating myself again on the morning we left Copenhagen to Roskilde was like, it's wild. Like it's ancient times. That's how crazy of a couple of days we had.
Yeah, like I haven't even been back in the US for a full week at this point, and you haven't been back in Argentina for a full week. So
yeah,
man.
but it's still like it's so much, and I hope we can convey it here now.
Yes, the epicness of Epic Fest
for everyone that was there to make me relive it a bit, even if it feels soon, and for anyone that wasn't, maybe to entice you on a new adventure in the future that's similar to this.
Yeah.
So let's talk Epic Fest.
Let's talk Epic Fest.
Epic Fest 2025, day 1.
All right, so yeah, we went and we grabbed our wristbands and press badges, and we had to make it over to. So for the uninitiated fan, Epic Fest is split into 2 venues. There's the smaller venue, Gimle, which houses like the most fresh up and coming bands. It's a pretty intimate venue. And then that contrasts with the main venue, which is basically just like the community center in Roskilde, but that has 2 stages, the more medium-sized King Roar's Hall, and then the brand new stage, the Realm of Might and Magic, which we'll get to, but my God, that was a big
it was
stage.
Mighty, for sure. Oh my God. But yeah, so this is a festival where you don't just think about parallel stages when you plan your day, because obviously there's a lot of bands and there's overlap, so you have to make some decisions, but you also have to wait into these decisions. You have to walk approximately 1 kilometer, so it's like 10 minutes at most, and not being in snow makes it much easier.
Yes.
But you have to go from venue to venue, so you have to put that into your schedule when making your choices.
It didn't feel nearly as bad going between venues this year.
No, not at all. And also like this new stage that was not there last year in the previous iterations, is these 2 stages in one venue, and then the smaller one is the separate venue. So yeah, we made it on the very first day. We had to go straight to the small venue because we wanted to see the very first band of the day, which are Battleborn.
Yeah, I thought this was a great way to start the fest. Just guys being dudes with their Arnold Schwarzenegger tank tops and blasting out some really fun power metal. I thought this was a really fun way to start everything off.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a fun band. They had cool stuff, very good stage presence. People were really loving it. Just from the get-go, it was pretty full in there, which is something that we expected, but then you notice it like, oh, we were in line with a bunch of people to get our wristbands at the other venue, but most people were getting theirs at the smaller venue. It wasn't an option for us because of our media passes. So we were wondering, how much people actually, how many people will actually be there from the start? And
it's always full.
Always full. I don't think the small venue has always been like spilling over with people, which is great because even the smaller bands were getting all the love. And this,
it gets these smaller bands like this, like really high energy, packed crowd that in a, not like super small, but like decently small venue that I think just gets everyone like just the right amount of hyped, and it makes for a great way to begin the fest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And also, if you are interested, there's a short 5-ish minute long interview I did with the Battleborn guys right after the set, which you can find around here on YouTube or Instagram or wherever.
Sure.
If you want to learn more, which was really fun to do. And it's something that I've never done before because Kyle was not there with me. But I think I managed.
Yeah, we were talking with the Battleborn guys, and I'm like, well, I want to go to the next show, but it's like I don't want to.
Yeah, but that's why.
So
that's why there's two of us.
You did so much more work at this festival than I did.
Well,
I was the man on the ground. Just I was the man of the people, just experiencing the bands. You're like, oh, I gotta interview people. Oh, I gotta take photos. I gotta network, and I'm just like, I'm here for the vibes. I'm here for the music. It covers both angles of it, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like being two of us, we could split to get something from everything. So after the Battleborn set, which again was really good, full of energy, people were loving it. The first choice shows up. The first split in the plan.
The first, choose your own adventure style of Epic Fest.
Who do you follow? Do you follow Kyle? Do you follow Fernando? Do you follow one van or the other? This is when you have to choose. Do I stay on Gimle on the smaller venue and see Apostolica, or do I make the trek back to the larger venue? Do I see Induction? What did you do, Kyle?
For me, when I saw this, crossroads, I knew exactly what I was going to do. I went for Induction. This is a band I quite like. I've been on the up and up. We sometimes call them the power metal Nepo babies because they're led by one Tim Hansen, related to one Kai Hansen. His son puts on this little band here, which is, I would say, not particularly similar to Halloween or Gamma Ray in terms of their power metal style. I've thought of them as more like, they almost lean a bit closer to Beast in Black at times, but like their songs are pretty catchy. They've got some good energy. I was a little unsure going into this show because they actually just got a new vocalist like a couple months ago, and and I really liked their previous one who had left to focus on another band. But this new guy did a great job. I was standing around with our friends who I don't think were as familiar with Induction, and they were like, "Wait, wow, these guys are really good," and like they had no idea that it was just like more or less like a new lineup. And I've been saying for like a couple years now, like, hey guys, Induction are pretty good. They're a good up and coming band. And then everyone around me is like, especially like halfway through the set when they've really kind of started to win everyone over, I'm like, yes, power metal is good. I've been saying this. Many such cases of power metal being good.
Yeah.
But I think the part of the set that I think really kind of won at least our crowd over was when they played their song called Set You Free, which they explicitly called out as like appealing towards like an older style of like the faster uplifting power metal rather than the like bong dun 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 style that is, I would say, more popular these days. And like that's like one of their best songs, I'd say, and it really, I think, just kind of won over our crowd, especially the friends that we were with who like that style. There was a fun bit that they do because they have a song called Go to Hell, which frequently uses the phrase go to hell. So when they're like introducing the band towards the end of the set, like all the different members, they do it in the middle of that song, and you tell every member to go to hell, which is a fun, unique bit. I haven't seen that concert thing done that way. It
was fun. That was a lot of fun. I got the ending half of the set, and I was one of those. I agree. I'm sorry that I doubted you, but I was one of those. Like, oh, these guys are actually really, really good. Like, oh, because I would
not lead you astray.
I had no prior knowledge, and this is going to be a recurring theme. A lot of these bands I wasn't really familiar with, and to any listeners, you might remember maybe that I mentioned a couple of times, I really enjoy knowing bands for the first time live. I don't really do the pre-show study, like the discography.
Yeah.
I like live music enough that I want to be impressed by the live show. And this is one of those cases that I was really impressed by what I was listening. And I didn't even get the full set, but it was really, really cool.
Yeah, I missed the last song because I wanted to get in early for the next band, get a good spot.
Yeah, but before we get to that...
I'll also say my apologies to Apostolica. I'm sure you're lovely people and did a good show, but I had to make a choice.
And that's where the timelines before, that's where having two people works, because I saw the first half of Apostolica.
Oh, there you go. So tell me, what is the deal with Apostolica?
They have masks. They look very cool. It's a whole... I don't know if I don't, it doesn't feel right to say it, but it's the ghost vibe of, we have the cool costumes, we have the cool
everyone's all mysterious.
The ambient, yeah. The keyboard player has a sick curved keyboard that he can carry in one hand while playing.
Nice.
Which is absolutely sick. It was cool. I can't say it's my style a lot. This would be the opposite of that old school stuff you mentioned. People were enjoying it, seemingly. Like they had fans there. And it looks really impressive. Like the whole setup they have, really impressive. They really filled up the venue, the stage and everything. It was pretty cool. So I stayed, mostly I tried to take photos of as many bands as I could. That's why I did a bunch of half sets of the bands that I wasn't very familiar with.
Yeah, I feel like you hardly saw the full set of like anyone.
I did see full sets of the obvious ones, because there are bands that had no parallels. So, but yeah, Apostolica was cool. I think their live show was really good. I don't think I'm a fan of the content, but it is well done. It's
a good show.
I'm not trying to be negative. It's just, that's how it is.
Fair enough.
It's very cool. And then our fork in the road closes to one of the iconic moments of this festival.
Yes.
One of the canon events.
The canon event of Epic Fest. So it's important to point out here. So the way the overlaps and the splits work, it's only the small and the medium venue that ever overlap. Whenever there's a show at the really, really big stage, there's no overlap. They can get everybody in there. No one's missing anything, which I think is a really good way of doing the crowd management. And even then, it just gives you extra space to play with when people are shuffling about. Because I think they doubled the tickets this year. It's 2,000 or so?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. So yeah, we leave the induction show. We go down the hall to the realm of might and magic, which I didn't really know what to expect for this, because I'm it's going to be a bigger stage. Okay, sure. But we walk into this, it feels like a fucking aircraft hangar. It's goddamn massive. I'm where was the room for all of this at this little community center? Did we go through an actual portal into another dimension where they have room for this just absolutely massive area? Huge. It's got enough room for the thousands of people, plus bars and benches and a massive stage. The stage itself is decorated with these rock spires on the sides, which have these magic runes on them, just to add to the whole epic ambiance. And we're all getting ready to see Fabio Lione and his Dawn of Victory project, which is basically just playing the hits from Rhapsody that everybody knows and loves. And it's an awesome time.
Yeah. So this is the moment where we bring up the chart. God. If you're not familiar with the chart, you should. If you are into power metal by now, this is the most current iteration of old school Rhapsody. Basically, this is a new project.
Yes,
the name is Dawn of Victory. The full name is Fabio Lione's Dawn of Victory. It's Fabio. I mentioned a couple of times Fabio likes to do tours mostly in Latin America, sometimes in Europe, just a solo tour with a surrounding band. And in this case, that surrounding band is what was the Rhapsody reunion tour without Luca Trilli. So we have like 3/5 of 4/5 of original Rhapsody for 6. There were 6 people. Yeah, there's 4 out of 6 because we have Fabio himself, and we have Alex Holsworth on the drums. We have Patrick Gers on bass, and we have Dominic Lerking on guitar. And on the other guitar is Justin Hombach, who was also the guitarist of Eternity Sen. I assume he's spearheading this. He seems to be managing this new project, and it was absolutely really cool. They played a show before. There was actually like a Power of the Dragon Flame Fest in Europe when they did their first show. And this one was like specifically advertised as doing a special Rhapsody set. And it was all the classics, like you said. It was absolutely incredible. We got all the great songs, honestly. There was a special guest, 2 special guests for this show. On the one hand, there were a couple songs with the Roskilde Children's Choir, which was very interesting, with just a whole
These kids
choir up there.
Looked goddamn terrified.
Yes.
Okay. It was so funny. Because imagine being like 11 years old, just part of your like church choir, and it's like, hey, come get on stage in front of 2,000 metalheads and sing about swords. Like, what?
I mean, if I was in their position, I would be like, yes, finally, this is what I've been promised all along.
Your whole life led up to this moment.
Yeah. And they were there for...
I was kind of surprised. They were only there at the very start and very end. I was kind of expecting them to be there the whole show. I thought that's kind of what it had been billed as.
I think I expected them to be there for just a couple songs, honestly, because that's usually what happens. They don't really... You can't really... Like, a lot of the Rhapsody songs have choir parts built in on the originals, but it is a lot to get a children's choir to learn the whole set because it wasn't announced with that much time. I think it made sense. Maybe the song choice didn't make much sense to me. There were a couple songs that have very obvious choir parts that you can hear on the backing tracks, and they didn't use the choir for those songs. They used them for others. So it was a bit like, okay, but it was fine. It was a very nice thing to do. It's great to include something so local into this ostensibly international festival. And I think that's really cool. And the other guest on the set was Nicoletta Rossellini, a singer for Alterium, who did one of the songs with Fabio, and it was also really nice. And she was also around the whole fest doing like media for like official spokesperson of the festival.
Dressed as like an elf with like fancy cosplay.
Yeah, so it was one of the 2 main cosplayers of the fest, which we can talk about a bit later. But honestly, this set was so much fun. We had such a good time.
The perfect, I would call it a power metal party in just the absolute best way possible. Like Definitely. The crowd was going absolutely nuts. Everyone's singing along to all these songs everybody loves and knows, and it was just amazing. And Fabio's milking it. We love him and he loves it. It's perfect. Everyone's got the pits going off. Everyone's dancing to like the fucking Village of Dwarves and whatever. There's so much power. It was truly epic in a way I don't think I was fully prepared for going into this.
Yeah, like I saw Fabio like the week before with Agra, and then a couple of months before doing his solo show here. And I think I've seen Rhapsody. I saw the Rhapsody reunion show, so I was waiting on Rhapsody on Fabio shows so far, and I told myself I was gonna be a good like attempt at a journalist. I was gonna take the photos on the.
And then what happened?
And then I would just take more photos and stand back and blah blah blah. And then the pit was going. The music was strong. The people were having fun. People were singing along, and all our friends were there. So I just had to. I could not hold myself. Like it was like the Latin American in me could not bear with it. So
the Fabio pit was calling to you.
So taking advantage of some of our friends that are not
saying,
that.
Here, hold my camera.
Yeah, that are not that pit incline. It's like, hold my stuff. I need to go in there. And it was such a polite pit. I'm still shocked by this.
Everyone is so nice at
everyone
Epic
is
Fest.
so
Everyone's
there's the density of people is so low. Like the amount of people per area by area during the pit is so low. Everything is so easy.
It's the Northern Europe of it all.
Yeah, I think it's the Northern Europe of it all for sure. And some of our other friends are like, "Oh yeah, we're having fun. That was the craziest pit ever." I'm like, yeah, great, buddy. But it was
pits
great.
This isn't the kind of festival where there's like super hardcore pitting, but I thought it was cool to see at least something popping off for
like
for
this
Fabio.
was in the middle, center, forward, like at the front, and it was great. Clearly,
You're right.
And there was this again. This place is huge. The area where this stage is so incredibly, insanely huge. When like past the back of the main crowd, there are tables set up, and there were people sitting if they wanted to, seeing the fest from afar. It was really like a full
and not just like two of them. No, there's like a dozen tables.
Yeah, a dozen
with,
tables.
Cafeteria lunch tables, all in like in each corner of the back.
Yeah.
There's like several bars,
and it did
even
not
like the bars. Oh my god! Like they have.
It didn't feel empty at all. It was just huge and full of stuff and people. And on this area, like it was like clearly the people that wanted to be into it, and they were really into it, and everyone was so happy. And I know that for you and a lot of the high concentration of North American people we saw, which surprised me a bit, how many of them were there. Like most likely,
I told you we're desperate.
Yeah, most likely they would never see this. Like we know already by the time of this recording that this very set, the Fabio Leone's Lord of Victory, has been canceled at the next Rock Power USA.
Yeah, guys. So this was so rough because like I'm at this show and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I can't wait to run it back at Prague Power it'll be a smaller crowd, sure, whatever. But just to do this again in a few months, I'm like, oh, I'm so hyped. But then a few days ago, it's like, whoopsies, never mind. We can't get Dawn of Victory visas. So, fuck you. I'm like, God damn it, Prague Power. Yeah. Now I gotta go to Europe for all my fucking festivals.
Yeah. So, and this came out after Epic Fest.
Yeah.
Shortly after. Yeah. So it was like, in retrospect, like, oh, a lot of people here were so lucky to get to see this. And I think that if that cancellation happened like a month before, some people would have tried to make it to Epic Fest.
Yeah, and I think like the other Europeans, I think Fabio's is he doing this at Quest Fest in the UK?
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he is.
So there's another chance there for the people who want to get in there. And it's totally worth it.
Dawn of Victory is gonna keep touring. Like,
yes.
I don't think it's hard to see Dawn of Victory became a thing when Angra announced their hiatus. A lot of Angra members
Fabio
are doing other
work.
things. Fabio, I don't know the deal, but Fabio seems to be incapable of he cannot stop singing. He has to keep doing it all the time. Like right after this show, like I told you, I saw him with Angra the Friday before Epic Fest. So exactly 1 week before.
You guys could have like basically flown together.
And the next, not really, because after the Buenos Aires show, Angra played in Santiago de Chile. I'm pretty sure. I think it was before. Yeah, it was after Buenos Aires. It was Córdoba and then Santiago de Chile. And then he went to Epic Fest and he played Chile again, like yesterday, as of this recording, because he had a solo show there. So he's flying around the miles on
His
this person.
Dude.
I cannot even think of the status he has. He's probably
gotta hang out in the lounge with Fabio, dude.
Yeah,
that'd be so sick.
And I'm pretty sure Dawn of Victory is gonna keep touring, keep having shows, but mostly in Europe and I assume, as usual, Latin America. Not so much North America.
Like they're gonna try again next year, and if hopefully they can pull it off, because since next year's gonna be like the last version of Prog Power in this current state. So if they can make that actually happen with Fabio, I can't think of a better band to have already announced for that.
Yeah.
All right. So as we wrapped up the Fabio Lione set, we're feeling so good. We've been having such a great time. And I think to myself, my God, we're 20% or so into this festival.
Yes.
And like, I'm good. I could call it there. I am satisfied. I got to see some cool up and coming bands. I got to party to the fucking moon and back with Fabio. What else do I need? I'm good.
Yeah.
I think everyone was kind of feeling that way. We were in like that post amazing show bliss as we all just like went to step outside and get fresh air and whatnot.
Yeah, and then suddenly you're hit by, there's 3 bands now at the same time, and we need to choose.
the challenge mode, as we now, you know, the part earlier where we said there's only 3 stages. Well, we lied. There was 4 kind of at this exact moment, because not only was Jotun and Bloodhorn playing, but also Theocracy. You know, Jesus smiled upon him and said, here, have an extra show in the Roskilde Cathedral where they were putting on an acoustic set. You know, this is a unique show, nothing else like it happening at the festival, to see this acoustic show in a just absolutely gorgeous cathedral. And they sold separate tickets to it. Our press passes got us in. Thank you, Epic Fest, very much for providing that. And we're like, okay, we need to go see the more unique show in the cathedral. So we made sure to hoof it over there not too long after the Fabio show. So again, apologies to Jotun and Bloodhorn. I'm sure you're lovely people. Yeah. But we wanted to go see the more unique show, which was the Theocracy acoustic show in the cathedral. And this was really cool. Like the cathedral in itself is gorgeous, but then just hearing just Matt's voice and just the way everything amplifies and echoes throughout it, it's just unlike any other show at this festival, I mean, for obvious reasons.
Yeah, like really, I was really looking forward to this acoustic set because it's a really special thing. So the Roskilde Cathedral, we saw it last year. It's an incredible place. It's the highest point in the city. I'm pretty sure it's like atop a little hill, and you can see it from around town all the time. And it's
a good landmark.
Yeah, it's such an impressive building, and it's something really popular. If you're ever in Roskilde, you have to visit it. It's worth it. And having this acoustic show happen there is just so special because again, it's taking this international music festival and actually linking it to the town where it's happening in a culturally relevant way. Which I think it's a great thing that the organizers are doing and make sure that they do.
Just that they have like the community connections to make that happen.
Exactly. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Say, hey, can this American metal band play here? And you're like, excuse me?
Yeah.
This what now?
Yeah. But of course they have the link because it should be very obvious. Theocracy deals mostly with topics relating to Christianity in general.
Right.
So it makes sense. And
it does, yeah.
I know that my thought process when we were walking to this set was thinking, okay, there's the other 2 bands. I know I want to take photos of this set because I know the cathedral is awesome. So I know it's going to look great, but also I might stay because if it's that good, and it was that good, I stayed for most of the set. It's actually really impressive. Like you said, the way Matt's voice and everyone's little stripped down acoustic set just sounded on that place was absolutely beautiful. Really,
I appreciated what Matt said, where he said, okay, we don't just want to do our normal set but acoustic, and we don't want to just do slow songs and ballads. So we want to do kind of like a mixture of all kinds of stuff in this acoustic version. So they had slower songs like Bethlehem, But then they had like some of their more like metal-y songs in here, like Eagle's Wings or Nailed. They did like this big medley at the end of some of their sort of best songs, like As the World Bleeds, Mosaic, and I Am being like at the end, because everyone loves I Am. Awesome song.
Yeah.
And they even did like a not fully Christmas song, but well, because like, oh, it's April, and they're like, oh, Theocracy likes to do Christmas songs. So they did one of their songs that's sort of like a take on Silent Night too, because they're gonna screw it, we can do a Christmas song in April.
Yeah, it works. I think they did a great job actually making proper acoustic versions, because that's something that is a pitfall that a lot of bands may fall in when a lot of bands find themselves doing an acoustic set from one reason or another. Usually it's not something that's very planned. It's something that they can't get out of. And they just, okay, I'm just going to strum the guitar, make it like we're on the camping site, just singing along, blah, 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 without much thought. But these guys actually prepared and arranged a good set with the 2 acoustic guitars, the electric bass, and the small percussions. And all the backing vocals of the guys, like, it was really great. And you could tell, like, the place was full. And
yeah, well, a few hundred people, probably.
Yes, and everyone was really enjoying it. Like, you could tell most of these people obviously are probably big Theocracy fans. But
I would assume so, yeah.
But you could tell it was a special moment. The vibe is completely different from the actual metal shows we were having before and after this.
It was a nice break after
Yes.
like the 3 metal shows before this. It's just vibe switch to the nice, pleasant acoustic stuff.
Yes, and it really was a wonderful backdrop for it, like having the gorgeous cathedral with the sun setting, just the sunset landing on the guys. It was really magical. Some people at the front
Oh
were
yeah, this
really,
happened at sunset too.
Yes.
Oh man,
So sunset
was extra magical.
Sunset started happening around halfway through the set, and the way the cathedral is set, that the light was hitting them specifically, and it's just gorgeous. I know that I thought, okay, I've seen most of the set. I still have time to catch one of the other bands to maybe photograph them, so I left a bit earlier, and then I kept seeing the church being hit by the sunset. So I kept taking videos and photos of it because it was so gorgeous. I was not gonna have another chance to do this because there were the other sets of the next day, and then we leave Roskilde, and it's like, I'm so sorry. Personally, I want to say I'm so sorry, Yotun and Bloodern. I could not win this fight. I'm sure we'll see you at some other point in some other festival. And I'm sure you're lovely people. And I assume it was pretty full for both of you guys, because obviously the charge set was very limited. You had to buy this other ticket to get to it as a sort of crowd control, as we mentioned. So most people were probably at your shows. We weren't. We're sorry. But Theocracy nailed it.
It all works out. And I'm glad that the festival was able to put on such a unique and special show. It was so cool.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
And then, but there's no breaks. It keeps going.
It keeps
because
going.
Because just a few minutes later, huff it back to the main venue, because boy, it's time for fucking Stratovarius. God. Again,
yes.
Man. And what is there to say about Stratovarius? You know, they're legends of the genre. They put on a phenomenal show. Their songs are great. You know, I kind of like that they sort of dispersed like their like big crowd pleasers throughout the set. It's like Eagleheart, I think, was kind of early on. Black Diamond's kind of in the middle. And then they milked the shit out of Hunting High and Low at the end. Which, you know, hey, if you got a song that people love that much, yeah, go for it. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah, the setlist was felt really interesting because there were obviously all the heavy hitters. And then they played some older songs and some newer songs that I didn't really expect. So it was quite interesting because we had this stuff like, I don't know, I don't remember listening to Eternity before on a show, of these.
It had visions in
visions,
full, I think.
Yeah, just that was pretty cool, I gotta say. Also, I wanna mention specifically, this was the best sounding set of the whole festival. The sound was pristine. I don't know what stars aligned, because it's not like the other shows were sounding bad. They were everything was sounding great. Nothing was extra loud except for one band we'll get to. Everything was great, but Strato in this huge place, like last week, like we said, this huge like plane hangar, like it sounded so perfectly balanced and crisp. It was like listening to the album, but live, with their live, the things that they do live, which are different from the recordings. I was really absolutely another one of those great times. We knew this was like the second big hitter of the day.
What's weird is what feels wild is that you basically have like 3 headliners every day.
We had 3 headliners. That's the best way to put it. That's the best way to put it. Because again, like we just Fabio was like 2 hours before this. Ago. And it did not, it was like, oh yeah, I remember when we saw Fabio, now we're going to see Strato. And it's that same level of a big hitter. And obviously, we love classics. You should know by now. We love the classic power metal bands. But this was so good. Like, I don't know if you agree, Cal, but I think this was absolutely great. The performances were great. And if it was my first time listening to this band, it would have been low at first, like, listen.
Yeah, I was. It's weird to think of this was one of my like relatively chill bands for the day, because I knew I was going to be like excited for like the next couple bands that I was going to be seeing. But even just like chilling in the back, having a drink, like hunting high and low, it's just like, man, this is awesome. Even Strato's newer songs, I feel like we're talking about like, oh, Toby bitches about how people don't like the new songs. I feel like Strato, as far as like these legacy power metal bands go, like even their new songs are pretty good.
I really like
Survive quite a bit.
I like Survive a lot. I'm very happy that it stays on the set lists when they play it. I think that's the album is great, and I really like that song. I like it live a lot. It's not just a legacy hits band for sure.
Yeah, no, these guys have been doing this for what, going on almost 40 years or something at this point.
Yeah,
they're good. Like they're good.
They're really good. Like you can tell the experience is there. They are so good, all of them, and they fill up that gigantic stage.
They also have this giant glowing star thing as part of their set.
I love
the logo.
I love it. It's such a simple stage. They just have this backdrop with a light up symbol. I have no idea what the symbol is. We can look it up later. But it just looks so clean, and it's what they sound like. It's a very clean sounding band. Not that they don't have riffs, but it's that prototypical sheen on power metal sound.
Yeah, and I love their emphasis on keyboards. Like they've got one of the best in the biz doing it.
Yeah, you have Jens there.
It's always a pleasure to watch him, because they're one of the bands look like they're having a great time, just milking every bit of it. Yeah,
everyone looked like they were having the greatest time. I loved the interactions. I particularly enjoyed the call out to the Latin American fans, because they are on Latin American tour right now. I think they are already in Colombia by the time we are recording. Am I going to see them again next week? I'm not sure yet. Maybe, most likely.
Aren't you seeing? You're seeing like Edgy or something, aren't you? Or...
I never.
You got a million shows coming up.
I have a million shows. This is the new one. This is one that I didn't have in my radar. But then they mentioned during the Epic Fest set, like they were trying to rile up the crowd, and like, can you be as loud as the Latin American crowds we are seeing? Like,
I'm just like,
week?
No, they can't.
And I'm like, I was on the side for this. I was also like a bit chill for this one, and I was standing on the left side, close to the front, and they're like, yeah, go Latin America. Argentina wins every time. Best crowd in the world.
Yeah. Because I was like since I was further back for this show, I got to, I guess, appreciate more of the details of the larger venue, and that being like, so they have like this like cocktail store which dressed up like to be like magic potions and stuff like that. It's all glowing, and it was really cool. Like all the bars, everyone is like wearing outfits, whether it's like wizard hats or angel wings. It just, every like little bit of this festival is leaning in to, you know, the power metal fantasy silliness, and it really just it makes it epic, dare I say.
Yeah, definitely. Like I love that encouragement from the fest itself and how people actually took to it. A lot of cosplays in this festival, and a lot of it like very genuine, everyone having fun, which is like that vibe from all old school anime conventions.
All the cosplays had me feeling a little underdressed just in their normal metal dude stuff. I'm thinking next year, maybe I gotta start dressing up too. Shit, man.
Yeah, you gotta like you gotta like level up. You have to step up for this, because even the traditional metal dude here is dressed at a level of patchery and jewelry that I was not prepared for. Like
it's an intense festival, but it's awesome.
Yeah, Metalhead's accessorizing, like they know what they're doing, and I'm definitely not one that was dressed up for the occasion. I was just trying to blend in and take photos in the dark, which might not be the move. Might be the wrong move, actually. But yeah, that was the great set of Stratovarius. It was the second headliner. It was I don't know what time it was there, but it felt like, okay, we can do it. We can, we took another breather. I think this is the one where we walked outside for a while and just sat there having a drink, because like we need to replenish our fluids. The weather was so dry.
There wasn't much of a gap after this, because I had to get back over to Gimla. So
oh my God,
next up,
yes.
Remember, this was Friday. There were no breaks for
There
Nintendo.
were no breaks on Friday. You're right.
We stopped for like 5 minutes to eat pulled pork sandwiches before Strato, and like that was it. And then it was all go.
Wait. The pulled pork sandwiches were before Strato?
Yes.
Oh my God, I thought it was after. I thought it was...
Well, no, because I was walking back from the cathedral, and I met you out there.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. So...
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is a long day.
Yes. Yes, it was a long day. So the next crossroads, the next conflict on the times was like the biggest, I think, most difficult choice. And this is the one where when the schedule was announced, I saw the most people being like, no, these bands are at the same time. And that being Majestica on the medium-sized stage and Terra Atlantica on the smaller stage. And I was really conflicted about this because I like both these bands. I want to see them both. And so I'm like, what do I do? Well, I do like Majestica better. Maybe I go see them. But they're supposed to play Prog Power this year, so maybe I don't need to go. Maybe I go to Terra Atlantica. But then I'm thinking, but wait, Prog Power is fucking exploding. They might not get visas. Maybe I should play it safe and go to Majestica. But then just that morning, like I think it was like before the Fabio show or something, it was posted that Majestica's visas for Prog Power were approved. So I'm like, okay, they're probably going to make it to the US. And even then, I think they play more live shows in general, so I have a better chance of seeing them in the future. I will go and see Terra Atlantica, a band that's just been kind of on the up and up pretty much since we started the start of the podcast. We talked about them on like the 3rd episode or something. So we go way back with these dudes, okay? And so this was in the smaller venue with their, I guess, nautical themed power metal. And even they were like, we're shocked anyone showed up. We thought everyone was going to go to Majestica.
Yeah, because again, Gimle was full for this.
Yeah.
So people were actually excited. And I know some of our friends are the number 2 and number 3 fans of this band now. And there were other people that are like, I know there were like the genuine fans and the people around them that were like, oh, you're a fan of this band? I wonder why. Let's go check it out. And I'm sure they walked out very happy.
Yeah, I think having this be like Majestica and Terra Atlantica are like mostly relatively similar styles of power metal, like theming notwithstanding. And so having the ones who actually went, made the trek, because obviously they were all at Strato. So they made the trek over to the other venue to pack it in for this less well-known band without a, fancy YouTube channel. But like, I think this, of all the shows I saw in Gimla, this one was my favorite. It was one where the intimate venue, everyone making the, very active choice to be there, it just added to this whole level of hype and good vibes and just camaraderie that is perfect for what these smaller Gimli shows are meant for. And like the guys on stage looked like so happy that everyone was there celebrating this with them. Like this was a real highlight of the festival for me, when I didn't fully expect it to be like one of my favorite shows going in, but man, I fucking love this show. It was fantastic.
Yeah, no, definitely. The vibes, 11 out of 10.
Phenomenal vibes. Perfect. Yeah.
This was the best band at Gimli that, like you say, they used it so well. It was not just full of people, and they weren't just filling up the stage. They were using these smaller, more intimate venue and environment to have like a real connection with the people. This is like when we saw Fellowship there last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was this very honest communication between artist and an audience that is so great to be a part of. And I had not listened to a single Terra Atlantica song before this.
So they're a band that I think they have, I want to say 3 albums out, and they're this type of band where they usually have, we'll say, like 2 or 3 pretty good songs per album.
Mm-hmm,
but they pretty much took all of those 2 or 3 pretty good songs per album and made it into a 45-minute show or whatever of all bangers, of all hits, and it worked. They even played a new song from an upcoming album that they haven't done yet, The Land of Submarines.
Yes.
Which was so stupid, but it worked. I think in terms of like band playing a new song at a live show, this one went over super well. Like, the crowd was in the palm of their hands. It was perfect.
Yes. No.
And I gotta say, moment of the festival was before they played the song Beyond the Borders. They mentioned that like, oh hey, this next song was specifically requested that we play. And our friend had literally emailed them a few months ago to say, I hope you play Beyond the Borders. Yeah. And the fact that they called that out on stage just fucking killed me.
Yes.
And like, he was there. He was right in front of him. He was on the rail.
He was there. Like the head exploded. I could see it firsthand. That's the sort of magical moment that you kind of forcibly lost with larger bands. So being there when the band is just growing and you can get these things to happen, it's just amazing. Just so amazing. And what were they going to do? If they didn't play it, they would be cowards. They cannot do that. They cannot have that. And obviously they love that. They love that someone cared that much as to email them to request a song.
I think when their next album comes out, it's going to be one we have to talk about here. I'm hyped for the Land of Submarines.
Yeah, definitely.
It's Song of the Year, dude. It's Sodi. Land of Submarines.
Already Song of the Year.
It's already. They got it. They won.
I love the clarification right before they started when they announced the song that they are not a pirate band. They are an underwater band. That's the theme.
Yeah, but they have a song called Pirate Bay.
Yeah, but it's not about it's because Atlantis is underwater and it's the land, the Atlantis land.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised that they did the like fake leaving into an encore thing, because I'm like, you guys have time for this? But they did leave and come back, and then for one more song they did Atlantica, which is like their self-titled song where everyone says the name of the band, and it's perfect. It's great. Yeah, I think that was the first song I heard back in 2017 or whatever, and I'm like, this is really stupid, but damn it, I like it. It works.
That's how it goes.
Even like I think even some of our more cynical friends who were with us were won over by just the earnestness and just the pure fun of this set. Yeah,
definitely there were some people that were there. I'm gonna see what the train wreck is, and they came out changed.
The shipwreck, maybe.
The shipwreck. Yes, you're right. Sorry. Yeah. And they
sailed, they soared, they went under the sea in their submarine.
They walked out believers. That's how it is.
This set even had a wall of death during, I think it was Hellfire, one of their like faster songs. Like walking in here, I'm not like, oh, this band's gonna have a wall of death mosh pit going on. It was like this. It was amazing. No, it was best show of the whole fest right here, Terra Atlantica. I'm calling it.
Damn, that's strong. Yeah, but it was really, really good. And I'm happy that I was there for it. Very happy. I did catch the end of Majestica.
Nice.
Because I tried to like to free myself from the grasp of Terra Atlantica. And check out a list of it.
You were back on land.
Yeah, I was back on land, back in terra firme, and I only saw like the final 2 songs or something like that from the side, so I didn't catch a lot of it. So we'll wait for your proper review when you see them. Most likely
I looked at these. I did look at the set list for Majestica, and it's a lot of songs I like. So, assuming they do a similar set of Prog Power, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, and they sounded good. They sound really good. Like Tommy is a very good vocalist, and
like I've only seen him live with fucking Sabaton, where
when he doesn't sing,
use him.
Yeah. Now he's unbounded, unrestrained. He can sing high, which is allowed in power metal, contrary to what Sabaton fans might think. And they had a very cool stage set up. So whatever show you get in Prog Power is probably gonna be awesome. And again, sorry, Majestica lads, that we weren't there. Hard choices, I guess. Also, it was so much more work than we were prepared for. But we're getting better at this.
So then, after Terra Atlantica finishes up, like, I don't think we even stuck around for the photo, because we had to like sprint as fast as we could after all this back over to the main menu for the last of the big bands, and that being Ross the Boss doing a Manowar set. We got Sign of the Hammer, we got the Kings of Metal, just all the Manowar bullshit. And like, we wanted to get to the front with our British friends who are terrifyingly into Manowar and were terrifying amounts of drunk. And what a fucking party this turned into. After going from like the cute little Terra Atlantica party into the
what was this like?
Oh god,
like 11 p.m. or something.
Yeah,
at the time, and I was like, this was
after a full day of all this.
Yes, and now you are hit with the dawn, the realization, the dawning of like, oh my god, I have all this heavy metal ahead of me. And again, they were at the huge stage, so this is like the third headliner in a day. I don't know how they made it so loud in there. Like,
well,
I don't think
Manowar.
I don't think it was necessary.
They like, never turned down. The other bands play.
You understand the level of it. Like Fabio sounded great. Stratovarius sounded world class. And Ross the Boss took that setup and said, I'm gonna draw another number on the dial and turn it more.
And posers leave the hall, dude.
Oh my god. I could not take it. I was out Manowar. You can call me afraid. Because after the first song, after taking the photos, I had to walk out. I had to leave the hall. I could not take it. It was way too much. But, man, you could tell everyone that was an actual fan there. The
people there who were Manowar fans are fucking nuts.
It's insane.
I got struck by more beer during this show than any other at the fest, which not surprising.
Dude, I walked in after this set ended. I walked into the area, the stage area, and it was the first time in the whole day where they were actually cleaning the floor and dragging mountains of spilled beers and cups and cans.
It was kind of gross.
It was like a real show, not a European show, man. It was incredible. People were like having the time of their lives. I even saw like towards the back of the giant area, like not even almost nearing the tables, like all past halfway through the set, I saw people on the ground, like half passed out and still vibing, just moving their heads side to side. Like,
yeah, because I was towards the front with our with all of our dudes, and like beers are just getting handed out, and like everyone's just going crazy.
Where do the beers come from? They just beer.
Okay, so the bars were selling these like carrying cases of like half a dozen beers, and people were bringing those into the pit and handing them out, and everyone's sharing because the riffs killed the germs, and that's how it works. Exactly. And so it's just everyone's crushing brewskis and eating riffs.
Yes, definitely. Oh my god, it was so brutal. And I like the Manowar fans were clearly pleased. They were just on. Like I could barely stand up by this time, and everyone was like at maximum power all throughout, and it was incredible. So much hailing, so much killing, so much everything, like full on. And I know this is like, so this is Ross the Boss, right? We saw Ross the Boss in Prog Power 2018. Remember?
Yeah, it was like the opening show. It was
the opening show back then.
Which is so weird.
We were sitting down on this theater, and they were playing to like half a crowd. So it felt off at that time.
Yeah, they still gave it a good effort. But it was so different from this. The
cognitive dissonance was not working. But here, this is what makes sense, clearly. And I gotta say, like, this is a set and a show for fans.
If you're not into Manowar, this is not going to convince you.
This will not work.
No, I heard some people saying like people like would like poke their head in and be like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, like this does not work unless you are actually a Manowar fan, and I'm talking like for real, like the guy with the Manowar like back tattoo.
There was a shirtless guy with a Manowar like full back tattoo, and he was having a great time,
having the time of his life. Like Ross the Boss, you are the boss, sure. Don't. I get it. This is the old school heavy metal thing, and we prop them up, and it's fine. It's great. People are having fun. But if you are not into this just falls apart so quickly.
It kind of stands out at this festival because most of it is very Euro power metal style. To have this more, we'll say, traditional American heavy metal stuff going on, it does stand out. But I'm glad it was there just to spice it up a little bit. Give those nerds a kick in the pants.
Yeah. So this is a very important thing because if you think of all the bands we saw prior to this, it's like the complete opposite style of music. It's so hard to like fully make them make sense together, and it works. And it was still full of people. Like it wasn't like super full like with Strato and Fabio, but there was a big chunk of people. Was probably 80% full.
Yeah, and it's midnight when you're hailing and killing here.
Exactly. Yes.
After a full day of festing.
Yeah, you had to survive the whole day, or maybe skip some bands probably. But the mix works. A lot of our friends are fans of all these bands and had an absolute fantastic epic time with all of it. And I like that we can have this kind of variety in this fest.
For sure.
And then we were like so done after this.
Yes. So it's kind of wild to me that Epic Fest does this, where after like the last like big headliner, they still have one more show for the absolute sickos who still want to keep going. And in that case, this band was Insania, also known as Insania Stockholm, I guess, because Sweden. And this was a band who basically like revived and like was playing their first live show in a decade. I kind of wish it wasn't at 12:30 in the morning after a full day of festing. But so like we were so dead after like, you know, all these bands in a row that like I was just sitting down in the very back of the venue trying to appreciate the songs. But at this point, like, you're so tired, you're so overstimulated that it's hard to fully like focus in on this.
Yes.
So I'm sure they were doing great for the 3 songs that I managed to not collapse for, but
it was like our fade out band, our wind down. Yeah. This is like instead of having a song track that plays while you are leaving, we had this extra set.
Another band.
It's just another band, and we just sat there. I mean, you guys sat there. I took some photos, and they were pretty good. Honestly, like I don't know.
I think they had some like technical difficulties with the sound or something.
They sadly had some technical difficulties going on, but they sorted it out pretty gracefully. I think just gave a little speech, talked about some stuff, and it made it work. Yeah, and it was also like the vibes were so different from everything because of this everyone is exhausted thing. So this was significantly less people. This is what happens with this final band for real, like the extra band. But I think the people there were having a really good time. They enjoyed the set. I enjoyed the set. It was a nice time. And then we were dead.
We were very dead.
This is how it was.
We didn't really do any partying after the fest this first day, and we just kind of trekked back to the Airbnb and died.
Our very peculiar Airbnb in Roskilde. I think it's worth talking about a bit that the town was full for this festival.
Yeah, like it pushes the town to its limits, it feels like.
Yes, the hotels were all booked. I think we saw that everything was mostly booked out 4 months in advance already.
Yeah.
Like there were no hotel rooms available anymore. At least not close to the festival, like within relatively reasonable walking distance.
We did have some friends who stayed in Copenhagen next to the train station, which is a viable option.
It is a very viable option because it's very.
It's a bit of a faff to like go and walk to the train and get a train, but it's not the worst option.
The full trip, if you're staying in the area of Copenhagen Central Station, is 40 minutes from the venue. Given that you time the train correctly,
if you time the train immediately,
you have to time the train. Yeah.
Realistically, you're probably looking at like an hour, but if you're waiting and then walking slow or something, but
yeah, really,
it's not terrible.
It's very like it's what it takes me within Buenos Aires to come back from a show in one of the big stadiums within the city.
Right.
So it's not a big deal. We opted not to do that. On the one hand, because we really are lazy. But on the other hand, because I had all the camera stuff, and that makes it a significantly extra burden. And also, I wanted to try to be there early for the things. We tried. Tried is the big word. We got an Airbnb that one of our friends found when they were scouting out what was left. There wasn't a lot left. We got a nice place on top of a house with nice rooms for 3 of us, the powerful crew. And we complained. I don't. Did we talk about it last year? We had a thing running with our friends about showers in Denmark last year.
And how every shower in Europe is cursed.
Yes, because all the showers and all the accommodations our friends and us were in had these little weird things that made it slightly inconvenient or annoying. And then we had this, which was an actual like, okay, the showers were fine all along. Not a between renewals, small side wet bathroom with small curtains and the very small place and no place to hang the shower head. And it was, the Airbnb was lovely and the owner was lovely, but it was not the best for the fact that we were on these super mega long festival days. And
we made do,
but we survived.
Yeah.
Like Strato said, we survived.
We survived.
But we definitely, we definitely did not go to the after party on the first day, so we don't know what happened there. I don't think any of our friends did go to that after
I didn't
party.
Hear of anyone.
Several went back to Copenhagen. The others were just straight to shower and sleep. Maybe some for the next day, some for exploring the next day, because on day 2, what a lot of people do in this fest, and whenever there's a festival in Roskilde, is explore the town, because it's actually cool things to do. Like last year, we went to the Viking Ship Museum. A lot of people went on the second morning here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the main cultural highlight of the town, I'd say, is to go to the Viking Ship Museum. We're like, oh, been there, done that. We're experienced. So, we just kind of explored the like commercial center of the town, got food and whatnot.
Yeah. So we explored the food this time. I did see from some of our friends, I think it's worth mentioning, because when we were there last year, it was winter, right? And the Viking Ship Museum is actually a place where they recreate these Viking ships. They do the research and everything. And everything was frozen last year. This year, not. So a lot of our friends saw an actual recreated ship be put to water and go into a small ride around, which is
that's awesome.
Sick, absolutely sick. We go.
Yeah, might need to go back there at some point in the spring like this to get a more appreciation for it.
Yeah, we were just like way too dead to actually do all that.
It's the wrong direction to go.
Okay. That's also the thing. But we did get some food and then showed up. We did not get to see the very first thing of day 2, which was the Sword Sondag podcast live episode.
We don't need no other stinking metal podcast here, okay?
Yeah, also, I'm pretty sure it was in Danish. I didn't check. So we just...
Probably.
We skipped that. We went straight to the first show.
They also did the like D&D and Warhammer sessions before.
You're right. There was the D&D and Warhammer sessions. They were doing some paintings. They were doing different tables to play one-shots and stuff like that, which we wanted to attend. But again, like...
It's limited slots, I think.
We were wrecked. Like, the truth is, at the time that started, because that started early in the morning, I think it was around 10 a.m. that they opened for that.
Was it? Oh shit.
yeah, it was before everything. And I put the alarms, but honestly I slept like 3 hours and it was like so...
I don't remember hearing any alarms.
No, because I woke up, so it's so awful. So this is a tangent, but it was also the Japanese Grand Prix Formula One weekend.
Oh,
right?
Yes.
And due to the race being in Japan and the whole weekend being in Japan, we were in Copenhagen. The qualifying session was that Saturday morning in Copenhagen at like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., something like that. After getting back and showering and setting everything up, whatever, I fell asleep at like 3 or something like that. And then I woke up at 5:30 half frozen, and I turn off the alarm. Fuck it. I'm going. I need to sleep more. My legs hurt. My arms hurt. The batteries have to charge on the cameras. And then we were up at, I don't know what time we were up at. I think at 10 we were leaving the Airbnb and just went straight
Something
for
like
lunch.
that.
Yeah. We decided to just walk around a lot and then just have lunch the moment places started offering lunch.
When we walk around Roskilde, and it's like when you get like the locals, there's like a lot of old people or a lot of families, and you feel like they're definitely like staring at you as just like an obvious outsider here for this, nerdy metal festival.
Yeah,
or being or a foreigner or whatever, and it's just like
we also saw,
especially when you're dragging the suitcases when you're leaving and entering.
Yeah, well, that's more obvious because like you're obviously it's obvious. But when we were just
and
walking
you always
around,
have your giant camera.
I have my giant camera. Yeah, we know we thought at some moment like, why are people staring now? It's the giant camera. That is probably it.
Doesn't help.
Yeah. But well, we went to see a band. We went to see.
So we kick off day 2 with Pagan's Mind.
Pagan's Mind, another band I wasn't like super familiar with. I've listened to their stuff before, and it was very good. Yeah,
so they were the closing band of Prog Power last year, and they are very much like a prog and power band. So this is one where you're really digging into like the instrumentals, the guitar and keyboard solos. Like the singer's not even there like half the time. He's just chilling while the instrumentalists are going off. And this isn't really the style of band that like you go crazy and party for. So having like a more like vibes band be the first one when everyone's obviously fucking wrecked after the first day, I think worked out well.
Yes, they even mentioned that. Even the vocalist made a point of saying like, hey, we know you guys were like getting crazy with Ross the Voss last night and the whole show, the whole day. So they really appreciated people actually being alive enough to show up and vibe with them. And this was in the big venue as well. Like, so we started outright.
You're starting with a headliner. Basically.
Yeah, basically.
There were 4 bands in there that day. Jesus.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, just you clearly were just processing it now, as you can tell. Go looking at it back is pretty shocking. But yeah, their set was really good. We saw all of it. There was no clash with this opening band. I took it really chill. I just took some cool photos and then just stood in the back like a good proggy listener with my arms crossed.
Of course.
Thinking.
Not along to it.
Yeah, listening to all the notes. But it was really, really cool. They sounded really well. You can tell they are experienced. They really filled that big stage. I keep saying that it is important. Some are not.
It can be tough,
yeah. But these guys,
the whole, I'd say like the first half of this day, kind of leaned more into like the proggier stuff.
I don't think you can really say that.
A little bit.
I think it's pushing it because of a couple bands.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. Yeah. So Pagan's fine. Like, we don't have a lot of detail, I guess, to say, but it's just good stuff. It's good seeing them live.
Yeah.
They are very good live. Whether you really know them or not, it's a very good time live. Especially if you like some slightly proggier things. And then it was
another conflict, another fork in the road.
Another fork in the road that we had to choose.
Probably the strangest of these forks in the road.
This is a fork in the road that I am still amazed at the decisions we made. Still surprised. Because like it didn't feel, I don't know, it feels almost wrong, but I guess stuff happened. So you had on one hand Royal Hunt, and on the other hand, Pirate Queen.
So, and these are two like completely different style bands, like completely different backgrounds. Like I can't imagine there being much in the like taste overlap, I suppose.
No, not at all.
And and so like I wasn't very familiar with Royal Hunt. I know they've been around for forever, and they were playing one of like their big albums in full, Paradox, I think. And so the friends of ours who were familiar with Royal Hunt were like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! You guys have to go to this." But on the other hand, I do like stupid pirate stuff, and the Terra Atlantica show the last night had me thinking like, hey, these Gimli shows with up and coming bands, kind of hype.
Yes,
Pirate Queen might be the move.
So that's important. The Terra Atlantica show actually changed our outlooks. I think it really proved like it is worth seeing the bands in the smaller stage.
And because I think I was just curious, like, what would this Pirate Queen show be like? They're a band I've been like low-key fascinated by for the last year, because it's like they were like trying to like promote their album as like being like connected to like Disney Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, and that was like a lie. And then there was like some drama with their singer, and like their album is like half not even an album. And I'm like, is this band real?
I think
I want to go and watch this band.
I think it's worth and it's fair to say, and I cannot lie about this.
Right.
This is clearly a group that someone said, okay, I'm gonna get a bunch of girl musicians and I'm gonna put this marketing through and label it like this, and I will make a ton of money. Like, this is the most, it sounds cynical, but if you pay attention for 5 minutes, it's clearly what's going on here. Okay? I cannot not say this.
Yeah, so like I ended up I wanted to go to the Pirate Queen show just out of, I was more curious. I think I had a greater potential for, we'll say, surprise.
Yes.
Whereas like Royal Hunt, I'm like, this is going to be a good heavy metal show.
Yeah, it's going to be a normal show. But Pirate Queen would not be a normal show.
So I'm like, what the fuck is this going to be? Exactly.
And a lot of our friends felt like that. And it was full, so full of people. The most full the venue was, I think, the whole fest. A lot of people outside trying to get in.
Because I'm a bit shamed. There's no way for me to talk about this without sounding like an asshole. But I did leave after like 2 songs because I didn't think it was very good.
It was not.
I'm sorry.
So this is the thing. We heard before that Pirate Queen had like 5 songs tops so far. That was not an exaggeration. It turned out it was not a lie. There was a song-length monologue or a backing track just talking about stuff. It felt less like a metal show or a music show at all, and more like I was watching a live stream of people like of one or two of them were the main, like was the vocalist and the bass player, I think, that were doing the most of the talking, and they were clearly the personalities driving it. And I was just seeing chat in real life reacting and to this thing. And then there were a couple songs. Sometimes there was a whole thing about grabbing 2 people from the crowd and make them sword fight with prop swords. But you know,
did this work?
It happened. They did it. They were like, who are gonna be our champions? We had champions in the previous show, whatever, and some people did. They grabbed the funny sword, and I think they were inflatable swords or something, and they just did the thing. And people were filming and taking photos and clapping, I guess. And then there was a song, I think, maybe 2.
There was a song, I think, he says.
It was so bizarre. And some people were having fun. A lot of people seemed just curious. And it's sad to say this, but a big chunk of other people were just there filming and nothing else. It was not the greatest vibe. It was probably the polar opposite of the Terra Atlantica show for me.
Yeah,
personally,
the vibes were off here.
Yeah, the vibes were off. Like they put on the stage presence was good. The members do a great job of what they're doing, their interactions, they're playing. Their dresses are amazing. The costumes are perfect. It's probably some of the most glamorous shots I took of the whole fest. But
I liked the big axe guitar with
I hate it.
Coat hat. It's stupid, sure.
It's the Gene Simmons space, but in the guitar form. It's so tacky. It's the one thing that I think was really off, because I really think like their dresses were great, the costumes were great with the hats and everything, except for the axe guitar. And I don't know. I'm clearly not the target audience, maybe not live. And I don't know, man. This felt like, I don't know what to say. I don't want to be super mean. I know it's not the members' fault.
Yeah, I'll say there's potential here. They could make this work.
I don't know.
It's just going to take some work.
I don't know. It's all on
I want to believe.
This is one of the things where I know there's one person, or a group that's the producers, and it's on them to make it all work. And I don't think they are fully making it work. They're probably putting the cart before the horse, as they say. The marketing worked. They got it set here. I think they played another show before or two, and because they mentioned it. I assume it was their first show.
Looks like there's 3 total shows on Setlist FM.
The content is not there yet. That's the thing. The form is there.
5 songs.
The marketing is there. The content is not doing it. I don't think, for me. I hope they do better. I hope everyone that's in there gets. I wish them good in their musical trajectory, or whatever they do. But I don't think it's working right now.
Right. When I went back to the Royal Hunt show, it was kind of nice to just be like, oh, this is a real metal show. I'm sorry to Pirate Queen, but just getting back to a show where everyone's really experienced and just knows what the hell they're doing. Yeah. It felt you could tell the difference right away. The Royal Hunt show was very cool. I loved their keyboard guy with like the back-to-back keyboard setup. I wasn't super familiar with this album going in, but they definitely impressed me with the tail end of the performance that I caught.
Yeah.
Granted, the contrast here was wild.
Yes. I did not catch Royal Hunt. I didn't make it in time because I got sidetracked by some friends outside of the small venue. But I can definitely see that. Just comparing with any other show there. I compare it with Terra Atlantica. And it was not our thing. Did we make the right choice going to experience that? Yes, I think we did.
I think so. Yeah, just to check it out.
Yeah, I don't regret it because it's a thing. It made me feel stuff. Probably not the best stuff. That's the only problem. But
I did feel things. I don't understand what I felt.
Yeah.
But there was something there.
Stuff happened. I don't know. I don't know. But that was one of the forks in the road. The fork in the road gets closed once again for one biggest show again. And that's Crimson Glory.
Yeah, getting another one of our more old school kind of American style prog power metal bands getting in there.
Yeah.
How did you feel about this show, Fernando?
I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. So this is the funny thing. I am not the best with names. I am not the best with keeping up with bands. Why do I do the podcast if I'm bad keeping up with bands? Who knows? But you can trust me now. I am transparent about it.
Vibes.
For 2 months, I thought I was I was mixing up Crimson Glory with Crimson Shadows in my brain.
They're very different bands.
Very different bands.
Crimson Shadows, they did just play at Hyperspace, I think, last night.
Yes, they play at Hyperspace, yes.
They would be great to get Perfect Fest.
Yes.
Just thinking about that.
Yeah,
that would be so sick.
That would be so sick. Because then I wouldn't feel so stupid. But this was luckily like my error was pointed out like a long time before the actual show. So it's not like, oh, what is this? Like, no. But it was funny.
Were you confused why this like dead Canadian band that like 5 people know about was playing on the big stage?
No. Anyway, I liked it a lot. It was a great show. It was this more, I guess it is more traditional than the other Euro things, but I really liked it. It was again on the big stage. Everyone was having a good time. It sounded really good. I did not partake on the heavy stuff, but I didn't go pitting or anything. I was trying to pace myself better for this second day. But it was really good.
Yeah, because I mean we went so hard the first day that I basically was pretty chill almost all of day 2 until the final band, which I knew I wanted to save myself for.
Yes, exactly. I was doing the same thing.
So this was another like kind of like take it easy band for me. I appreciate that Crimson Glory basically only played songs from I think their like 2 most popular albums, being Crimson Glory and Transcendence, which is like, oh hey, those are the ones that I know. Like Queen of the Masquerade comes on, I'm like, hey, that song was in Brutal Legend. I know that one. Let's go.
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm not a scholar to name the songs. I just know that I liked what I heard. You can, dear listener, check the set lists for this if you want to know that detail. I can tell you it was well performed, very well performed. And it was a really good time. Sounded great. They undid the Ross the Boss loudness thing, so it wasn't blasting. Was sounding perfect. Very, very good stuff. The crowd was having a really good time. I was just chilling a bit.
Yeah, I was feeling, I think, a bit of stylistic fatigue at this point between Pagan's Mind, Royal Hunt, and Crimson Glory. Mm-hmm. In my mind, they kind of filled like a similar segment of the power metal spectrum, we'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this was one where towards the end of their set, I kind of felt like, all right, I need to mix it up a little bit, which the next band definitely did, except this is when tragedy struck.
Oh, man. So...
Oh, the drama. So as we were filing out of the Crimson Glory show, in this like back corner of the festival, they had this like fantasy cosplay dress up photo booth for you to take like, you know, cool pictures with your friends. I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. So we go and we take these nice photos. I got like a fancy helmet. We've got swords. We're doing the Rhapsody thing. It's great. When we took this photo, I very briefly took off my nice new jacket, which I've been using to survive the harsh European spring time. Bear with me, as a weak Californian. So I take it off for 1 minute to take this nice photo, and then I'm like, okay, well, we're about to go outside to go to the other venue and see this next band. So I'll rather than adjust it, I'll just take it off for a quick second. I go to pick up my jacket after this thing, and it is no longer there. I'm like, what the fuck?
I still cannot believe you did that. Like,
it was just a second. Everyone else was doing it too. It was like a whole pile over there.
The Latin American mind cannot comprehend that you would just put it down somewhere.
That you would trust in your fellow man.
That's
for
insanity.
30 seconds.
Insanity.
Who's gonna take it?
Society does not work like that.
No, society does work like that. That's why it's called society.
No, oh my god! Like, I know that I walked out just as that was happening.
It was as we were mid-crisis.
I was like
and you did nothing to help but talk shit.
Yeah, because like, why did you put it down?
Why not?
Oh my
It was
God.
right there.
And
no one else was there.
And you also put it down in next to a pile of other clothes, which is like, oh my God.
It was out of the way.
Oh,
I was taking off.
God.
Like it was like falling off because of like the water bottle I had in it. So like I was gonna just readjust it when we did the photo, but I'm like, oh, we're going outside in a minute. I'll just take it off because I'm about to put it on normally. This wasn't supposed to be a big deal until it turned into a big deal.
It was a huge deal suddenly because no jacket, and it was like
it was definitely colder.
It was definitely cold,
day.
and especially at the end of the day, walking back, that was like 2 degrees Celsius. You needed something. You needed the jacket.
Yeah. So luckily, one of we looked around for like a lost found. We reported it to a supervisor, gave him a phone number. But I'm like, I was thinking like, okay, maybe this isn't a place where people just steal shit. I have faith in the people of Epic Fest. This is probably just a mistake. I will believe that it will turn up. As I was just all sad, and a friend lent me his sweaters. We went over to the Shadowstrike show in Gimle, which, cool show. I was very excited to see their first show in Europe and just see them again in general because it'd been a while since that Mad with Power. But I was in a weird place for this show. It was really hard for me to enjoy it.
Yeah,
so I'll let you talk about it because you probably got to enjoy it more than me.
Yeah, so I went to the Shadowstrike show at the small stage at Gimle, and it was really cool. So this is something that was a bit I think it was unexpected for a couple of us, and I don't know the story. I don't know if this was intentional or not. But if you listen to Shadowstrike on the albums, I know that there were comparisons that they were closer to Dragon Force than other bands, that they have the fast beats and all the things. But they also like have a heavy use of backing tracks and synths and stuff.
Yeah, like if you were to combine like Dragon Force and Twilight Force, I guess, if you had to force the comparison, that's one way.
It was something like that. Yeah, it's not really that, but it lends itself to that.
It's twinkly.
Way. It's twinkly.
It'll twinkle.
But they weren't really any backing tracks in the show.
Yeah, they had their live keyboardist over in the corner.
Yeah.
Who I didn't even notice at first.
And honestly, it sounded really cool. It made the songs work really well, just as the basic band, which is something that it should not be like discarded. Like good songs should sound good live with bands without any extras. I think I know that a lot of people don't see it that way. They don't compose that way, but I think it makes for a stronger live shows. And I prefer live shows. So this was pretty cool. People were really enjoying it again. Again, it was pretty full in there. Lots of people. The guys in the band seem to be maybe not 100%. I think there were some issues happening because I saw the vocalist going back and forward and talking some stuff with the bass player that something was off probably. I couldn't tell exactly what. It sounded good, but something was bothering them. But it's still, the show was really good and people were having a great time, as with all the other bands.
Because this was their first show in Europe, as far as I know, and they don't really play live that often, I don't think. So, and I think they really put on a strong performance, had great stage presence, even beyond a band that doesn't play live particularly often. So I was very happy. Like, if you look at least on Sailless FM, there are 6 total entries going back to 2014. So yeah, like I said, don't play that often. And I was very happy to see them really put on a great performance here, even if I was hindered in my enjoyment of it in the moment.
Yeah.
My apologies to Nanowar of Steel, who we ditched to go see Shadowstrike.
I did catch the end of the Nanowar set. So that was in the mid-size stage. It was absolutely exploding with people. There was so much people watching Nanowar of Steel, which makes sense. They are a larger band, especially in Europe.
Yeah.
And I got there just in time for Norwegian reggaeton.
Oh, their best song.
Their best song. And they were having a blast. Like it was a real party. All the Nanowar people were wearing different costumes, and it was a very tropical vibe, which matches the song. Everyone was dancing around. It was very non-metal in a way, but which is refreshing to see. And everyone was really having a really good time. So it was cool to at least see the end of that little set.
Yeah, good timing to catch the best bit there.
Yeah, that was very lucky for me. And that was then the end of that fork in the road.
Yes, then next up was Windrose.
Windrose.
I'm not really a fan of Windrose, so I slotted this to be dinner time.
So not a fan of Windrose. But I went there. Yeah. Okay, so Windrose are easily the most popular band in this whole festival lineup.
Yes, like
it or not.
In the past few years, they have blown up so much with their memes and stuff.
Windrose is just huge right now. Whatever you might not like the reasons, they are huge.
They are huge.
The big stage was packed. Everyone was there ready to dig and rock and stone and all the memes. I'm not keeping up, but man, some people were there like, this is why I bought my festival tickets. My life.
I heard people were going nuts here.
People were like, my whole life will make sense after the show. I heard some stories from people before the show and then I saw them right there in front row, just waiting, and then being like absolutely mind blown when the guys walked into stage, which was actually really impressive. So when you mentioned before, the big stage had these rock things at the sides with runes that lead up and whatever. And the festival had shared before they started that they were building that. And I thought that was just a Windrose thing, not a festival thing. It matched so well with the Windrose aesthetic. It actually looked crazy.
It doesn't really fit some of the bands that played on that stage. Like it suited Fabio because you can kind of call it like fantasy themed. I don't think it really fit like Manowar or like Pagan's Mind, but it works for these guys with the whole rock dwarf thing.
Yeah, and also like with the color schemes and everything. And these guys know how to do a show. Like they are great entertainers. They are really engaging, and I was surprised a bit, honestly, at how well they feel the big stage. Just not just by walking around and everything, but like the way they stand, the way they connect with the people that are watching was really impressive. The costumes are top notch. Like if I had to mention best dressed band in this whole festival, it was these guys and then Pirate Queen.
the contrast.
The contrast, but they were the best drip of the whole fest. And it was really huge. And people were like, oh my God, like you would think that, I mean, this makes Stratovarius feel like a niche band, which in some ways comparatively you could say it is now. But people knew all the songs. They went nuts for the big hits. Everyone was jumping around. Like, it was incredible. I didn't stay for the full set. I was there for probably half of it, maybe a bit more. But it was really impressive, and people loved it, and that's what matters. There were tons of people there. Some of our friends that are the most hardcore Manowar plays kind of people in the planet, they were there having the time of their lives.
Yeah,
Which
like all of our like true metal friends.
Yes, the truest people.
Yeah, but they're digging that hole,
they
motherfucker.
were digging that hole harder than anyone else, and that's great. And that honestly made me so happy, just seeing people being so happy at a show, and that's what matters. I think this is like anyone that's listened to more than 2 episodes of the show know that we complain about this kind of music sometimes. We complain about the bands.
The meme metal.
Yeah, it's not just the meme, but like the ones that get into, oh, this works. Let's do it over and over again. Because like we know Windrose changed what they do once they hit it big with the whole. They were a more general folk band before.
Yeah, they were a totally fine folk metal band like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they hyper specialize, which is what works these days. And we get a bit annoyed at that. But man, all these people were having a great time. And I'm not gonna deny that to anyone. They they deserve it.
I'm so happy for the people who had the time of their fucking lives.
And
at this.
Windrose themselves were having a great time playing this huge crowd. I don't know if this is normal for them now, but they looked like they were like so happy to be there. So
yeah, I feel like they mostly play bigger shows now at this point.
Yeah, probably, right? But again,
they're the biggest band in power metal. It's like them and Sabaton, I guess.
Yes, exactly. That's how it is. And
what a time to be alive.
Yeah. but again, everyone is having such a great time. So no fault there. I cannot really complain about this set. It was actually great.
Awesome. Did you get to see the Diggy Diggy Hole dance remix bit?
No. I left before that. I did not stay for the whole thing. But everyone had their pickaxes, their inflatable pickaxes in top of the swords and unicorns and things that were abound throughout the whole fest. People went extra for the Windrose set. And they were it's great to see people so happy.
For sure. All right. Well, while this was happening, I was very not happy. I was eating food. I was all depressed, staring down like the 35-degree Fahrenheit weather in a t-shirt. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be great. But because I had after my jacket disappeared, I was like this adrenaline rush of action mode, try to make something happen. And then we had the Shadowstrike show, just kind of prolonging that. But then that was really coming down here, all depressed. But we eventually met up, finished our food, and then wanted to go back to the main venue. So Theocracy was starting up their main set at the main venue. My apologies to Holkoff and Gimli. I did not see this one. I'm sure you're lovely people.
Yeah, I also skipped that.
Yeah. So I go back to the main venue. I'm like, okay, it's been like a couple hours. Maybe whoever mistakenly picked up my jacket has put it back or brought it to a lost and found. So me and another friend of ours, we wandered to the photo booth area, looking around. There's on the hangers by the fantasy stuff, there is a different black jacket that was not mine that gave me false hope for 2 seconds. And then I expand my search a little bit. There was another thing at the venue I had this year was this Nintendo Switch station where people were playing Zelda and stuff. And what do I see tucked behind the Nintendo Switch stuff but my fucking jacket? So the most hilarious part of this, I was so happy to find this. I went from pure depression to pure bliss in a span of 15 minutes. It was, my emotions couldn't handle this. And the funniest fucking part, so the whole time we're in Denmark, the country gets abbreviated to DK. Their currency is DKK, Denmark crowns. But because we're a bunch of shitheads, I've been calling it the Donkey Kong currency or the Donkey Kongs. And I'm making all these fucking Donkey Kong comments the whole time we're in Denmark. But yeah, I mentioned this was in a Nintendo Switch area. The section that my jacket was hidden behind there was a monitor up with a profile select screen on the Switch. And what is on the screen but a giant picture of Donkey Kong? as I find my jacket. And I'm like, oh my God, I have been blessed by Donkey Kong on this day.
Man.
It was even better because like I flew into Denmark the day of the Nintendo Switch 2 stream stuff, and they announced like a big new Donkey Kong game there. I'm like, oh my God, it's all Donkey Kong all the way down, dude.
Man,
I am ecstatic.
We have so much brain rot for our ages.
Man, like, you know, I just went to the Minecraft movie the other day. Talk about brain rot, dude. Oh my God. That's a whole other discussion.
But definitely we're like the Donkey Kong. We're so stupid.
My apologies to the country of Denmark.
Yeah, we love you, Denmark. We actually really like you guys.
Lovely, beautiful place.
But it's just there. We kept saying to each other, oh, it's like 150 Donkey Kongs for a meal. Like, oh, cool.
But the fact that my trip was saved by a picture of Donkey Kong after all of this, I couldn't handle that brain rot. And so like I grab it, I'm like, I'm not letting this shit go for the rest of my fucking life. And I wander back into the like lobby of the venue. And as you may remember, there's that like tavern folk band that just like wanders the halls and plays.
Yes.
And so they were performing in the lobby. So I'm like watching them like perform these like folk shanties while I hold on to my jacket for dear life, just having the just ecstatic. And I'm like, oh man, life is wonderful. Like I was pretty much completely broken at this point.
Yeah.
And I texted our friend who lent me his sweater, and I'm like, hey, yeah, I need to give you your sweatshirt back. He's like, oh, where you at? I'm like, oh, I'm in the lobby watching folk. I meant folk music. Thought I meant folk
people watching.
People watching, which is somewhat true, I guess.
It's something you could do here. Honestly, I did it.
Yeah,
because
especially
it's so
with all the
interesting.
cosplays and stuff.
It was so interesting.
And then just here, you're doing like the sea shanties and stuff, dancing around. And it was the best moment of my life. It was beautiful. And eventually, I stumbled into the Theocracy show, and I was almost like too emotional to like fully pay attention to this. They were doing great, and I saw some people say, even like our like true metal friends, being like, "Oh yeah, this is like one of my favorite shows of the whole fest." Theocracy were great. And I did have a moment here with the Theocracy show where between this and Shadowstrike, seeing like these American power metal bands get such a warm reception, have such great crowds in Europe amongst all these other European bands, it did give me a little bit of pride of like, see, we can do it too. Okay. And I was very happy for my fellow Americans kicking ass at the power metal show here. Yeah, as I was going through emotional whiplash.
Yeah, what a moment!
I caught Theocracy doing one of my favorite songs, that being a gift of music, and it was glorious. It was beautiful.
Beautiful. I did. I set out of Theocracy and Hulk off again. Theocracy. I saw. The acoustic set, and I was honestly, my legs, my arms were killing me.
Yeah, I didn't need to see the full Theocracy set because I've seen them twice, and plus the acoustic show, I don't need to like, get everything from them on this show. Yeah. But the bits I saw were great.
I sat down for a while. I was just chilling at the Fellowship sound check during those shows. Which was lovely, and I really I did not prepare properly for this. I gotta admit, I did not prepare properly for what it takes to actually properly photograph all these bands in a 2-day fest. And it was, by this time, I was really wrecked. Everything hurt. Everything was sore. Who would have thought holding a camera above your head that's like 2 kilograms or 1.8, something like that, it really wrecks your arms, and that squatting all the time so you're not in the way of people behind you and you can actually get cool angles. It's a workout that I did not properly prepare for. So by this time I was like, okay, I need to consciously skip this and just chill to survive fellowship, which you would be surprised, of course, to know we were really looking forward to.
Yeah, so like this whole day was basically just a build up to fellowship. I feel like.
Yes,
going from like the tiny stage in Gimlet they were on last year to immediately being elevated to the final show on the giant stage this year is fucking wild. But I'm so stoked to see it because it you know, this is a band that, you know, you and I love, and we've, you know, sung the praises of countless times on this show.
Yeah, are we biased? Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm biased towards good music.
Yeah, should
nerds.
you still go listen to them and see their shows? Of course. You can trust us.
And I feel like every show they just keep getting better.
Yes, and that's how it should be. This giant stage for them, I think this was the largest stage they played so far, with the most amount of people. I talked with the guys at different moments in between shows because they obviously were there, just also watching other bands.
Yeah, I just kind of ran into them wandering the halls at times.
Yeah, so I spoke to Matt, Brad, and Cal mostly a couple times, and they were like, "Oh, this place is huge."
I was a little concerned. I'm like, are they going to know what to do with this giant stage?
Yeah, because as I mentioned, filling up a big stage is not easy.
Yeah.
You actually...
I feel like of all their members, I think Brad kind of does the best job of that. All the twirling with the cape, it definitely helps.
Brad is always jumping around. It's crazy to see.
Yeah.
Especially with the stuff he plays. The stuff he's playing is not easy, and he still cannot stand still, which is great.
Yeah.
Ed also was moving around a lot more than the previous shows, and Matt was using as much of the stage as he could. Callum was just sitting there.
He's just sitting there. What's that guy even doing?
What's the guy even doing? Just sitting there behind the drums.
Yeah.
But no, this was fantastic.
The emotions at a fellowship show.
Yes. So
they run so high.
We are truly BS here. We cannot be objective about this set.
I don't want to be.
Yeah, but just being transparent 100% because this is very special for us. We saw these guys at Mad with Power last year, and before that at Epic Fest 2024. And we had not seen them live before, Kyle and I. Some of our friends had, but not most of them. But we know these bands since they showed up out of nowhere one day with a video and a Sika song and a cover. And I remember we were like, oh, hey, this song is pretty cool. They have this cover, blah, blah, blah. Oh, wow, this is so cool. And I remember thinking, oh, Glint. Yeah, it's just a 4-chord chorus, and the video is really good. And everyone was like, no, man, this is great. Okay, let's listen, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is actually cool. They have choose more songs. They have this little EP. They have this cover. I wasn't a fan of the cover. And then we interviewed them forever ago. I don't even remember what year it was.
2020 probably.
Yeah, but it was we made it as a live stream even. Remember? And we had the whole band in.
Yeah, it was chaos. And
it was their very first interview. They had to figure out like proper band stuff to do an interview for that. And we had a great time getting to know them. And then they made more music, and it was amazing. Like we actually really loved it, and most of our friends did. And then getting to that first show on the small stage last year, that was great for us. That's a moment that will live in my life forever.
For sure.
And when we saw them on Band with Power, it was better. And again, it was with other friends.
Even more people.
And some people that we are meeting for the first time after chatting online for years. And now again, this year, the same thing happens. Some of our friends that we have the good fortune of being able to travel and meet up. And then some of them that are showing up for the first time, that we've known each other for almost a decade, some of them. And only now we can actually get together. And we get to experience a live show of this band that we all love, that we basically saw from the start.
We have nurtured from the very beginning.
Yes,
you know?
that it feels like we're part of something, even though we just, all we did was like, oh, we're going to interview you as much as you want and put everything up. But they became very quickly, they are also good friends with us. That's why we cannot be truly objective. But it is good stuff. And we had such another great time. And everyone was so happy. And it is an emotional set.
Because like you're shouting all of these, you know, because everyone likes to sing along to their favorite song, sure.
Of course.
But when these songs are such affirmations of life, of you.
They trick you. They trick you into actually believing in yourself.
Yes.
Into actually
when you're
processing
singing it with thousands of people and you're with all your friends and everyone's just freaking the fuck out. It overwhelms you.
It does.
Especially after everything, just doing the whole festival. And
we're already
all this other drama and oh my god.
Our defenses are already low. Like,
oh yes,
we are already primed.
You are in the most vulnerable state.
Yes.
And they just drive it into your fucking heart. And then you hold it up.
And you hold
again.
it up. And again. And it's
again.
And it's glorious. And again, like it's this is really important for us. This is like I don't know. It's what we live for. It's why this is why the podcast exists. To
pretty much
in retrospective
to glaze fellowship.
Yeah, in retrospective, when we started doing this in 2017.
Yeah.
If you look at it in retrospective, it's like, a band will show up that we will follow,
the prophesized band.
And it will unite our group of diverse tastes into joining into this great, full of feelings moment that we just won't forget.
Yeah, because Fellowship saved power metal, dude.
Fellowship saved power metal. You know, I said this many times. This band is so good, blah, 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 but they are in the second coming of power metal. At one point, I probably said that Blind Guardian doing the live set during COVID, that
also saved
power metal.
Yeah.
But Fellowship is the second coming of power metal. I really hope they get bigger and bigger, and that 20 years from now, they will be doing the anniversary sets to
exactly.
a huge crowd of people, old and young, and I hope they bring new fans. Their style is amazing because it's fresh, it's new, but it's not the super like repetitive stuff. It's actually very interesting. They keep it fresh. I don't know, man.
So this was something I was thinking about. I was looking at every band that played on the big stage, and nearly all of them are like legacy acts or like part of a legacy act from like the 80s or 90s. The two exceptions to that being Windrose, who started during the 2010s and then really hit bigger in the 2020s, and then Fellowship, who started basically during the 2020s. And it's just, I think it's really interesting to see that, like, okay, these are like the two like modernish bands that they have who are able to, you know, play up to the same level as like the legacy acts. And like Windrose and Fellowship are such different styles, you know?
Yes.
They're like in terms of presentation, in terms of music, in terms of vibes, and like, you know, no shade to the people who are loving and having the times of their lives at Windrose. But I feel like singing about digging a hole, it doesn't hit the same way as singing about, you know, being worthy, dare I say. And I know this is my own personal bias, but I can't imagine like such two different bands representing this like modern power metal at a large scale like this. It's really interesting to me.
Yes, it is. This is a very interesting time to be a part of the power metal scene. To actually pay attention to this, because I am an old jaded guy like many of our friends, and we complain a lot about a lot of things, but it can be done. You can have cool, fresh, new ideas that aren't just a worship of the old stuff, you know?
Yeah, and we were talking like, oh, Fellowship Save Power Metal, but there was like, I feel like every show at this festival, I turned to my friends at some point just being like, yo, Power Metal's fucking cool, dude.
Yes, and it wasn't just
whether it was
you.
the old bands, the new bands, it was both.
A lot of people were like that. Like, a lot of people that we know that are even more jaded than us.
The people more jaded than us
were
doing
just
it.
like suddenly looking at, because we were enjoying this, our own little personal pit, basically.
Yes.
And they were just looking at us like, oh my God, like power metal is alive. Yeah, and that you have no idea how much that means from some of these people. And not just at the fellowship set, but also at the other sets. Because I am guilty. For a while, I forgot how good live music was. And this was damn great live music all 2 days.
So, do you remember when I said the moment of the fest was when Terra Atlantica mentioned that our friend requested a song? Well, I want to this doubled down with another moment of the fest.
Yes.
Before playing the ballad Silhouette, Matt calls out by name our friend Dom, who doesn't like ballads, and says, "This one's for you." The guy who says ballads are shit. And Dom's right next to us. He's like, "Oh, I hope you fuck it up, dickhead," because Dom's blasted, because of course he is.
Yeah.
Just like the fact that it happened not once but twice. I'm not going to make the nickel joke about fucking our group being called out by the fucking band on stage for requesting or anti-requesting songs. I'm like, what is happening? We have too much influence over the sphere of power metal. It's going to go to our heads for an end.
Oh man, it's just like we have a large group now. But we always have it, but we made it known in person as well now.
Yeah. And like, or even just, and like, even at a thing like this, like we skipped over this during like the Fabio show, like meeting people who are actual fans of the podcast.
That was too insane. That's too insane, because like all this time we're talking about our personal friends, right?
Yeah.
That they would be there even if we didn't do this. But we met people at this fest, and it has happened before, of people that listen to the show. And now we met people that had messaged us saying like, "Oh man, I love this show. I love your travel vlogs. I love the way you talk about the reviews and everything." And that's incredible.
It always kind of blows my mind, because it's like, I'm used to people who are either just like, polite about it, or our friends who talk shit about it. So when you meet the people who are genuinely like the stuff that we do, it always catches me off guard.
Yeah, definitely. Like we met John. He had a Sabado patch made, and he had messages before at the show.
You guys don't sell Sabado patches, right?
No, they don't exist. He had it custom made. No one else has it. Chris wants one.
That's amazing.
I sent a picture, and it's like, "Oh my God, that looks incredible. I want one." And we talked with John for a while, and there were some other people that are like, "Oh yeah, I know you. I know your voice. I know you, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, whoa, that's not supposed to happen.
Right. Yeah. So, I'll be impartial here. So if I had to like throw some like mild criticism that like the fellowship show.
Yeah, let's balance it out.
We'll balance it out a bit. So there are a couple times where I feel like Matt doesn't know what to do during like the guitar solos. He does a couple bits that I thought were good. So like, I think it's the Bitter Winds has like a really long solo, and he did this thing. I think during small shows he like high fives the crowd or something. With this one, they like pulled out like a hat like shaped like an apple, put on Ed's head, and a little bow and arrow, and are shooting off. Like, that's a great bit. Love that. And then during I think the song before Hold Up Your Hearts Again, I think it might have been Oak and Ash, they like threw out a bunch of like heart inflatables, so that when they do hold up your hearts again, there are giant hearts for the crowd
that
to
was
hold
so
up.
cool. Honestly,
which is a brilliant move. Loved it.
That was amazing. When the inflatable hearts came out, like it's just sick. And we got one on our side, which was doubly sick, of course.
Yeah, and like, one of the guys we know like brought them home, a couple of them. He just has these inflatable hearts now.
Yeah. Oh my god! I hope the budget for inflatable hearts is not that harsh.
It was worth it for the epic show here.
It was and it was great, and people really loved, man. People were so hyped, not just us. Like there were a bunch of crowd surfers throughout the whole fest, and at Fellowship it was no different. Which always surprises me a bit because people seem so much more polite in Europe. But yeah, the crowd surfers still happen a lot. Everyone holding up their hearts. If I have to balance all my Fellowship love with proper constructive criticism, I know they had some issues with, I don't know if it was backing tracks or the setup or the monitoring, but there were a couple of songs where they clearly sort of lost the backing track and then had to find it again, but they could recover very, very well. And I think they could do more, like you said, between while the solos aren't happening, try to find something else to do. But I still think this is a great show. And I think they're only going to keep getting better. They are already touring the rest of Europe as we record this. And if you are not, hopefully there's still a show going when you hear this and you can attend if you were not aware. They are touring.
Yeah, they're with Frozen Crown and Lutharo, I think.
Yes, exactly. With Frozen Crown and Lutharo. So they're already getting better. And yeah, like I look forward to anything this band does live and studio wise. Not just because of us.
If I could I want to throw one more criticism. I was kind of sad that they didn't play the song World Ends Slow. Because it's like, that would have been perfect. That would have while the world's exploding, to have all of our... It's a song about being with your friends. And we were with all of our friends.
Yes.
And that was one of my favorites from the album.
That was a bit egoistical from us.
Yeah,
it's not real, because the set list was really good. Everyone liked everything. Like people were popping for every song, not just us. I promise.
I would have cut Atlas for it if I had to pick, but that's me.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I have preference too. I still don't like Hearts Upon a Hill, and I will never like it. But people like it.
It's a fine song. It works live.
It works live. Yeah, and it's fine. So
because everyone wants to bounce to it.
Yeah.
This was the first time they played Victim, which was really cool. That's a good one from.
It sounded so good, and my favorite Glory Days at this near the start. Like,
of course, yeah.
Absolutely,
I love it until the fires die. That one always really brings me in. The whole, just because they talk about the fellowship in it.
Yeah,
it brings you in.
Yes, definitely.
And you hold your hearts up in it. There's so much heart holding. And in your hand, and it's made of oak and ash, and you hold it up again. It's beautiful.
Yeah, what a great time, man! What a great way to end the fest for us. Because there was one more band. There was one more band, like Insania the day before. The extra band on the second day was Judicator, but
playing their first European show. And like the first band we ever interviewed, so I'm happy to see them still, kicking along, making moves here.
Yeah, with their newish lineup. I know
we were so like just done after Fellowship.
We're dead.
I remember talking to a couple people who were like, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go see Judicator after this." But then after Fellowship, they're like, "Fuck, man, I can't. My emotions, dude."
Yeah, we were all fully drained. Like, that's the word. We were like drained emotionally, physically, mentally. We could not make it. Like, it was I still think it was a miracle that we actually got everyone together for a group photo of all of our friends.
We never do that. We actually did it this time.
This has never worked before, and we managed it. and everyone was like, okay, like some people were like, let's go to the after party. Some other, let's go to Judicator. Some other, I just need to go back to Copenhagen. Some people were like, I have a flight at 7 a.m. because some people are not smart. But, and at the moment, we could not deal with the Judicator said. We were just dead.
No, it was too much.
We walked.
I'm sorry, Judicator.
Yeah, we're sorry, Judicator. We'll catch you at some point, some other point. I couldn't even like get into like when I finally collected all our stuff. Like we were like, okay, let's walk outside. Judicator was halfway through. They said that's how long it took us to like recover from the whole day.
Yeah, doing group pictures and stuff.
Yeah. And then we just walked slowly into the night. And on the way to our Airbnb was the small stage, Gimle. And that's where the after party allegedly would happen.
Yes, because there's a tavern there, the Ravens Tavern.
And we got there and there was nothing happening. But there were tables outside. Right. So we sat down with our friends for like, 20 minutes? 30?
Time wasn't real.
Time wasn't real. We were just having a nice chill talk with our friends. Then suddenly one of our friends goes inside to go to the toilet, he says, and then has like 7 beers or something. and then sometime more people,
all of a sudden Hail and Kill starts playing.
Hail and Kill starts playing. What is going on? A lot of people show up. The other main cosplayer for the festival, Arendil, shows up. It's his birthday, and they go inside.
What a birthday this dude has had!
Yeah, the music goes on. The bye. People are singing along to the Backstreet Boys. I don't know, not bye. It was My Way. I Want It My Way. Tell me why, that one. Ain't nothing but that's insane.
Are you sure you're not confusing our karaoke? Where
no. This happened before you went in because I went inside first.
It was all power metal when I was there.
Yeah,
it was like
no.
Full Moon and Fire and Flames.
No, it started with NSYNC or something like that, and then it started going up, and then you guys came in, and it was already all full power metal playlist, and it was a sick after party. We were dead. We recovered for a bit. And then we
did rally for a bit here, yeah.
Yeah, we pushed on because this was a very spontaneous thing. There were normal people there. They are just enjoying the bar. And they started leaving. And people were coming in, seeing the bar.
Poor normal people.
Yeah,
man.
Like couples coming in. And there's this bunch of dudes. Half of them are dressed as elves. The other half are in full metal. Like there's a Cookie Monster there.
There's dudes with Italian flags as capes.
The Italians, man. The Italians were driving the party. They were at all the shows, and they were and everyone singing Manowar at the top of their lungs. So people just turned around and walked away. and oh my God, we had such a good time. Everything was a blur at this time. Callum from Fellowship joined eventually. We were
double
with all our double fisting beers. Just showed up with 2 beers. Like, what's going on? And then I remember he was like, "Oh, I need to go. I need to take a piss." And someone can hold me 1 beer. The other one is for the trip. Like
exactly. I held 1 beer while he took the other one to the bathroom.
Yeah, and this was a great time. I have no idea how long we were here. It was very long, more than we expected.
I don't know. Like, was it 3 a.m. or something? I forget.
Something like that. And I could have stayed. Honestly, on vibes only carried me, but we had to go back to the Airbnb and just pass out.
Yeah.
Shower the day out of us. But it was such a sick, because it was a relatively small place, and people were just vibing together. The craziest power metal nerds, everyone singing along to Emerald Sword, everyone singing along to Dragon
Whoever
Force.
had the music was doing all the hits at the
I have
Afterparty.
no idea how it worked. I have no idea how it worked, but the playlist was immaculate. And a lot of people that this was not just our friends, this was just mostly random people. And we were all like, yeah, we're all friends from forever. Like, we all know each other. We like the same stuff.
It's because it's 3 a.m. and we're like literally singing the solo Through the Fire and Flames.
Oh, that was
and like
so
Bard song
cool.
comes on. It's sick.
Singing along to the full solo of Through the Fire and Flames, it was just amazing time. What a great time. Like, friendships were made, bonds that will never be broken, even though I have no idea what these people are.
Yeah, I don't know who the fuck these people are.
But
we'll probably see them there next year.
Yeah.
As we are friends forever.
No,
and speaking of next year, they did announce a handful of the bands for next year. I assume there will be more, but interesting lineup for next year already.
Yeah, so this is an important thing. When we finally decided to go again to Epic Fest in 2025, we very clearly said, but not again. Like, 2026, come on. Like, this is already a stretch. And then we learned the announcement. And, oh my God. So, let's start from the bottom. Ipomonia. I don't know them. We'll see. It's okay. We will figure it out. Lost Dawning. I also don't know them. Might be interesting. Trick or Treat. I do know these guys.
Yeah,
Alessandro Conti's one.
Conti.
They have the cool stuff. They, on occasion, have been known to play a Froggy song. Or so cool stuff already.
Are you gonna get them to do Froggy with you up there? Oh,
I don't know. I don't think we can do that. We'll see.
Hit up Conti, dude.
Yeah, and Dragony. Okay.
They're solid.
It's starting to look interesting for real. Then we get Hagane, the band from Japan.
This is a real interesting grab here to get it. The first Japanese band hitting up Epic Fest.
Yes,
and they're like a pretty new band too.
They are a relatively new band. Their first album, I liked, but it wasn't like all the way there. But then the singles they released
their
after
newer
that,
singles, I think are better. Yeah,
incredible. I love it. I love that style. They're doing that style of power metal that I like a lot, which is really fast and intricate, but also really happy sounding. So it is kind of like in the Fellowship vibe.
They have a music video in the church, so they're a real Japanese power metal band.
Power metal.
They're legit. Certified,
they
approved.
Are in the church.
So
Hayane is already like, yes, we're cooking. Victorious. It's like the Nanowar said.
They had a fun show.
They have a fun show. Yeah.
It'll be fun. Yeah.
Fairyland.
Okay.
What?
Their first show in like
happening.
Yeah, Fairyland. I'm like, they don't perform live. They're like, God rest his soul. Philip is dead, and I know they're carrying on with a new album. It was like his wish or whatever, but
it didn't feel like
them to turn live to be live. What?
And so this is already super special.
We're already getting out.
This is
there.
A revival set, basically. Incredible.
Dark I don't know what the hell they're gonna play. Dark Moor.
Oh,
like,
man.
What the hell are these people going to play? The fact that both of like Elisa Martin's like old bands are there. Is she going to show up? Is she like,
I don't think that can happen, but it's Dark Moor. It's like,
is Darkmoor going to play like Gates of Oblivion or Hall of Olden Dreams or like, what is happening for
I don't know, man. Then this Mercenary, I'm not that familiar, but they say they're doing a special 20-year show of The Hours That Remain. So someone must care.
Someone's invested.
Let's do it. Firewind is interesting. I think it's cool. Twilight Force, of course.
Twilight Force is like the most Epic Fest band.
Yeah, they played last year. And we know
they should have a standing invitation.
Yeah, because
they really should.
Yeah, because if you remember last year, they were said to clash with Fellowship. And a lot of people left the Twilight Force set halfway through to see Fellowship in the small stage. So now they can have their full set properly with no one walking away. Also, Conti is doing double dipping.
2 sets.
2 sets. Yeah, that's tough. I hope he pulls it off. I think he can. He's actually really, really good live. So he can. If someone can pull that off, it's him.
Yeah,
and then,
just the whole fantasy vibe is perfect for Twilight Force, like every time.
Yes, 100%. And then we get the heavy hitters. Roy Khan doing Black Halo 20th anniversary.
Yeah, so it's like he's doing like his own Dawn of Victory thing.
Exactly. It's like Roy Khan.
This is fan fiction shit right here.
Yeah, this is fun.
Never in my life did I think I would see Roy Khan doing Black Halo. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
It's insane. It's
literally.
Seriously, it's like a fanfic poster.
It says exclusive first European show, so they'll probably do even more after this. But
yes.
Jesus
most
Christ.
likely. And then Sonata Arctica doing a special 30-year anniversary show. So we can expect Sonata doing the hits and the old stuff.
Hope so.
And all of these, man, this is crazy. Like, this is not fair. I will not financially recover from this shit.
And hey, it's happening in April again. It'll be easy.
That's not the.
It'll be great. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about the Donkey Kongs, dude. It's fine.
So many Donkey Kongs. Oh my god! But all of our friends were like, "Oh my god." We were not thinking of coming back. Do we have to come back now? Especially
like,
all the US
there's no
people.
Fellowship. What are we can't handle that. I don't know.
Can we actually meet without fellowship? We might
all of
be
our big festivals with our
dependent.
friends have had fellowship.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe they play another bordering country a week before or after.
Oh god,
that will make it easy.
We'll take a side quest again.
We'll take a side quest, and this is crazy. And this is probably not the full lineup because this is just 11, 12 bands, and that's one day basically. So
we can do we freely speculate about who's gonna?
I don't know if we can speculate. I don't know. I don't want to If I had
to pick one, I'm gonna say Glyph because they had to drop from this year.
Oh,
I think
you're right.
To bring it back next year.
Yeah, because Glyph was slated to play, but due to all the vocalist change and timing and stuff, they could not make it. You're right.
So hopefully,
that would
I think they said
strong.
they want to do it. Yeah,
that would be a strong pick. You're right. Yeah, that's good. I don't know what else. I don't want to I don't know. I don't want to hype myself for something that doesn't exist.
I mean, it's going to be no. This is what's going to happen. Dragon Force is going to do the 20th anniversary in Human Rampage show.
Oh my god,
that's what's going to happen. Nah,
yeah,
and ZP is going to come back.
Nah,
and Vadi's going to
yeah. Herald is going to pull it off, and he's actually going to do the reunion. We know that's impossible. We know that will not happen. And also, he already covered his ass saying that he would ask, but it's obviously cannot happen.
But hey, I think a 20th anniversary in Human Rampage show is totally viable.
In Human Rampage in full live, that'll
kill a man.
We need to start cardio now to be ready.
I'll finally get in shape just for that.
No stuff. That would be absolutely amazing.
Maybe we'll get more Japanese bands. Hagane might just be the start here.
I certainly hope so. Really looking forward to what that's a door that's opening now, because we know Japanese bands are not aware that they can actually play abroad, that they have fans. A lot of the management just doesn't care, it hurts.
You gotta make them care.
There's
damn it.
So many fans around, and the fact that these girls are making it, really looking forward to it. We know that Love Bites have played already abroad, and they like doing it. And I hope more bands follow that, because there's so much good power metal in Japan.
Definitely.
And just get them around the world, please. Latin American tour, it's
come to Brazil.
The anime bands do it. If they get big crowds in Brazil, there's enough people. Please do it, and this will hopefully opens the door for that. Having a stronger relationship between Europe and Japan, at least with the promoters, So yeah, we're looking. We know people in the fest that walked out of fellowship, and we're already looking at booking hotels for next year, which is
I have made a booking for next year at the Scandic.
Oh my god! Oh,
refundable. It's refundable.
It's refundable.
So I might if things change, but with the way American festival scene kind of imploding at the moment, so Europe calls to me.
I guess
it's really doing it.
For you, it's going to be more of a thing now because most of these bands would probably not play the US anytime soon.
No, with even just especially now with like the Fabio shit, where it's just like, okay, if I want the cool fucking power metal, I gotta go to fuck off Europe. And thank God Epic Fest can really just like compile so many of these bands into one thing for me. So I don't have to take several trips a year. I can just do the one.
Yeah, it's just a great package. Great, lovely package.
Yeah. There's Quest Fest in the UK, which is kind of like, I feel like the little brother to this here. But I'm gonna stick with Epic Fest for now, I think.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Epic Fest 2025.
It was two Epic, two Fest.
Two Epic, two Fest.
It was chapter 3, but don't worry about that.
Yeah, it was chapter 3. We just didn't know about it. Chapter 1, it was we only learned of its existence with chapter 2. And this is looking that it's gonna be just more epic, just greater. Like the change we saw in size from last year to this year, the flags outside.
It really worked,
man.
Everything works well this year.
It's incredible. Like this is the best fest.
Like the time management, the crowd management, have all the
amenities,
space, more food, the amenities. Like I think everything went very smoothly this year.
The prices, like the drinks weren't overpriced inside the venue.
The drinks are kind of expensive,
but there were. Well, I don't drink like you. Like the Coke was fine.
Okay, the Coke, well priced. Good job, everybody. We did it. Was it the Gin Haas? I think coming around on those in Denmark. Those were tasty, but venue drinks. What are you gonna do? Just you don't look at the bank statement. It's fine.
Yeah. Don't look at the Donkey Kongs.
Don't look at the Donkey Kongs. It's fine.
The merch. Some people were like on the other side because
merch was a little weird.
It was a consolidated merch stand that sold stuff from all the bands. And for some people that was good, for some people that wasn't good. I
sometimes saw confusion of like, wait, whose merch is out when? Do they have their stuff yet?
Not everything was on at the same time, but you got that impression because there was only one giant merch stand. Yeah. So you had to be on the lookout if you wanted a specific band thing. You had to really pay attention.
I didn't have time for that, Fernando.
Yeah,
There's too many good bands to see.
That's the only problem, and it's not really a problem. You can focus on bands like we tried to do and on some specific bands. You can focus on a lot of people are focusing more on the environment because I would not be surprised if a lot of people pay the ticket for one or two bands only. And the vibe just hanging out was great. There were a lot of hanging out areas. There were tables at the entrance of the big stage. The tables at the back, of the big venue, the tables at the entrance of the big venue, where the food, the food carts were, the food trucks were, the tables at the back of the big stage area. There were also like walking around small tables, not to sit down, but just to put your drinks on and talk to people at the entrance at the main lobby area, and then in front, across between the two big stages. Another tabled area with the bar, with the flags and the decorations and the little folk band playing, and it's just great.
Plus,
and people just chatting.
They had plus out in front they had like a whole tented area, which is just another bar, another place to sit while being like getting some fresh air away from like the loud music.
Yeah.
So I know like when I'm at like a Prog Power, it's so tight. Everything's on top of each other, and it can be kind of tough. So having so much more space at something here was really nice. I love the vibes at like Mad with Power, but they lean more into like the video game side of things, which is really cool. And I'm glad we have this for the more like I don't know, like Renaissance Fair.
It's LARPing.
Festival.
This is the more LARPing.
Yeah, the LARPing.
One. Yeah, this is more cosplay. Like I think it has those, at least from my side, from Latin America, or from Argentina specifically, the anime convention vibes, where a bunch of people are there to spend the day with other cool people that like the same things as they do. And I think that's great. We several times we talked to random people, and it was fun. It was just like talking to someone you knew because you just like the same things and we're on the same wavelength. And that's really cool.
The fact that you're there, it just gets you past so many things already.
Yes.
You don't have to have the what is power metal conversation.
Yes.
Like you do with everybody else when they ask why the fuck we're here.
Yes, exactly. Like you can just bring up these bands, and maybe they, like, I assume some people were like, oh yeah, I don't know Stratovarius, but I am here for Windows. Or like, oh, you got, but they're already primed to listen to you and check it out because of the context, of the shared context. And everyone was having such a good time. Like,
it was funny when I was at the, when I was leaving the Avantasia show in London, I feel like pretty much everyone that I talked to, either like the friends that I knew, or even just like the random people we like talked to on the train, was like, yeah, we're going to Epic Fest next week. Hell yeah, fellowship or whatever. It's just like, it reminded me of when like you finish at Man with Power and you say everyone's going to go see each other next month at Prague Power. And it's like, oh, yep, see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
And just having similar vibes there.
Yes. And this is so cool. I love that these fests, that this fest exists, and that it is existing so well, that because this is done perfectly.
And it's sold out. I think towards at the end of the
sold out on the final day.
Yeah.
Or close to the final week. The week before, I think there were only 40 tickets left 2 weeks prior, something like that, and then it finally sold out. And that's incredible because it was like twice the people than last year, something crazy like that.
It's a big step up, and it all worked out.
And it clearly,
I don't think they're gonna grow the same amount. They'll probably, I think they should keep it the same size.
Yes, I don't think it's sustainable to expect another doubling. I think this is a good size, even with the heavy hitters that we mentioned that are announced for next year. It's still a fest that is clearly, at least from our perspective, it seems to be leaning on the international assistance, like not just from Europe.
It's not just going to be Denmark here. Like, there were a lot of Americans there this year, even more than last year for sure. I'm not sure how many Latin Americans you ran into.
I did not run into anyone, but I wasn't like seeking or like I wasn't like okay. So we forgot to mention the Indonesian power metal warriors
too.
There were a group of Indonesians with a flag. That is hardcore. I did not do the flag thing. I know there are a lot of Argentinians living in Denmark, so there probably were a few there.
Bring an Argentina flag next year. You will make so many friends.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. That's never been my thing.
Or you'll find like the Chileans and they'll like get mad at you for being like rivals. I don't know.
Yeah, but we'll go
You're
together.
Better than the Chileans anyway.
We'll get together in solidarity against Europe. So it works. Like we'll do our little pit on the side. I did have fun with the Italians at the Fabio pit. They were like bringing it.
Yeah, well, it's the Italians.
Yeah, by the end they had their flags all signed by everyone. It was crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
Yeah. So maybe we can do something like that. I don't know. I didn't want to call attention to myself, but maybe we should next time.
You inherently call attention to yourself, Fernando.
I was just walking around with the camera.
You're a big guy. You're a big camera. You stand out.
There were a lot of people like that this year. There, come on.
Or it's it's like the metal festival. I blend in there. When, like I'm sitting at the table. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm standing over here. No one can find me. They just walk right by me because I just look like a regular metal dude.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyways, the tickets for next year are there. This episode is so long.
We're pushing 3 hours. It's an epic episode here, boys.
Epic episode. We came back to our old habits because this was too much.
There was a lot to talk about.
There was a lot to talk about, and
we had to just decompress from the whole trip,
Yes.
And like I can't tell like when When I'm talking like friends and family here about like, oh yeah, it was fun. I saw cool bands. They don't care about the details. They don't care that Fabio was singing Emerald Sword and he repeated the chorus again.
Oh my God.
It's awesome. Just run it back, Fabio. Just do it till the end of time. That's going to pay for your retirement.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway.
This was great. We had a great time with everyone, with all our friends. And that's a review. That's not even the travel blog, some of it, maybe.
I give it an epic out of Donkey Kong.
Epic out of Donkey Kong. So many Donkey Kongs were epic spent on the epicness, and it was worth every one of them. Denmark is great. Epic Fest is great. You guys are great.
Yes.
We'll see you around at maybe another festival or just Epic Fest again. Who knows? Meanwhile, just stay powerful.
Stay powerful.